You are now listening to the Masters. Thought Crimes. Prince Solomon. Sincere.
Thought Crimes, are you mad? Build your community. Have mercy on your allies. Destroy your enemies. Thought Crimes, save me. Save us.
Have I gone mad?
Yeah.
Dead in the middle of little did we know.
I'm serious about mine. I'm so sincere.
Now at last I have seen a judgment of Solomon.
And this is
Thought Crimes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment. I only have one question.
Who the fuck you think you fucking with? I run shit here. You just live here.
I want to sing y'all a brand new song I just wrote called Don't Trust Them New Niggas Over There.
Now don't be a Negro, be my nigga. All right, help me out.
Hold on. I ain't nobody's nigga.
Well, I mean, you somebody's nigga wearing this nigga top.
Bitch ain't no legend. I'm the legend in this motherfucker. You can't be no legend and you 5 fucking years old. It's no fucking just call somebody a legend. Oh my.
We'll do it live. No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
What business are you in?
I make my bread and butter. I'm pushing.
What business are you in?
I make my bread and butter. I'm pushing. I'm pushing. I'm pushing. I'm pushing.
What business are you in?
I make my bread and butter.
Welcome to Thought Crimes, baby.
Welcome to Thought Crimes, baby. This is your girl, Sincere. What's up? What's up? I'm happy to be here with all of you. Prince is just taking care of our Facebook people to make sure that they can experience this dope-ass live stream as well on Thought Crimes, a Facebook page, and also Periscope.
Shouts out to everybody in chat room. What's up, everybody that is listening? If you're listening on Periscope, and of course, if you're listening here on YouTube, and then on top of that, you are able to download our podcast, by the way. And of course, right now, I am handling a lot of the technical issues right now. We're going to see what's going on with our Facebook people. We usually get a lot of activity over there. And shouts out to everybody again for coming in. And please check out our other channel, by the way, Thought Crimes. That's TC 1984, TC 84 for a lot of our day ones. Here we're going to be discussing today. We're going to be talking about Nipsey Hussle a little bit here in passing, and the greater context of what does this mean when it comes to the culture. I know a lot of people like to use that word. And shouts out to ITG. We appreciate you so much.
I saw the check, nigga. Huh?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the 99 cents. We will see if we can order us a $1 cheeseburger. So here's the thing about it. We're going to be talking about the effects, the residual effects of what we've seen happen with the likes of Nipsey Hussle. And then also we're having a lot of the hip hop and the urban rap pundits talking about this is why you don't help out the hood. You know, a lot of those things. We're going to dissect that. And then also we're going to be talking about the shift in gang culture, the Tupac energy, and then of course the industry channeling not only the Tupac industry, but also the spirit of Nipsey Hussle as it stands right now. We saw Future jump out there and immediately attach himself in a disenfranchising, disingenuous way to the spirit of Nipsey Hussle. And as we've seen with the likes of Tupac, we're going to see more of that energy as well. And of course, like I stated a little bit earlier, we will be discussing Chris Darden and the effects of that also.
Yeah, absolutely, because these are important topics to talk about because, you know, a lot of people try to capitalize off of the death of people in the industry. We see that with Biggie. We saw that with Tupac. We see that now with Nipsey. You know, we see people who are, you know, showing that they were either jealous of the guy, you know, not mentioning his name while talking about him. You see people who try to say that, you know, they are on the same level with helping their communities and how the fans are ungrateful. So it's a really messy situation. And then also people who try to blame the entire black community when in fact, you know, it wasn't regular black people who gunned down Nipsey. You know, it was something where he showed up to the place without any bodyguards because a friend, allegedly who was in prison, who just got out, asked for some clothes and for some other things. So Nipsey rushed down there with no security because he was trying to help out a friend. That's why he couldn't get into the store. Because people was like, well, why couldn't he get into the store? Why didn't people help him? When Nipsey first showed up there, it wasn't like there was a crowd of people there. And he was waiting for his friend, allegedly, to give him, you know, some of the things that he needed and then to bounce. But
this is street intel. Okay.
But what happened was, you know, you had the fans that saw it was Nipsey. People say, you know, started saying, I wanted pictures. That's where you get the photo of that little girl where Nipsey was taking a photo with her. That's the fans going over there taking photos with Nipsey. And then somebody was tipped, you know, the person who had negative feelings towards him, ill will, was tipped that Nipsey was there.
Now I want you to pause right there. Now we again, of course, we're just sharing this information with everybody. Of course, we don't. From the top, we talked about we're anti-conspiracy in the sense of where everybody else was going with it, with Nipsey Hussle being Dr. Sebi's son. Ridiculous shit, for a lot of those people. And I'm going to say this here. A lot of people have been really showing their ass with this Nipsey Hussle situation. So what Sand and I present to you is... Shut the fuck up. There you go. How about that? All right. So as Sid stated, that part of it, has been broken down. This is what is floating around in the area. What happened is that allegedly now is that somebody tipped off, because Nipsey showed up to the spot unannounced. He showed up to the spot unannounced, yet he was still killed. Somebody who happened to be in the spot while Nipsey was there chilling tipped his killer off, basically. And like Sin said, that little girl that you saw Nipsey standing next to, that was moments before he was murdered. And what happened was, while Nipsey, because of the type of individual that he was, a lot of people was like, ooh, Nipsey, ooh, can I get a pic? Can I get a pic? And that's what he was doing the time. And then he stopped to chill and chop it up with some folks. And then, as you all saw with the multiple security footage, the ones that has been released, there's other security footage that has not been released, clearer security footage that has not been released. Of course, it's an ongoing investigation. But as you saw in the security footage there, he was gunned down. His brother, Black Sam, had spoke about, actually, when he arrived on the scene, Nipsey was still alive. He said, my brother was breathing frantically through his nostrils, so he did not die immediately. He was still alive. And he said he tried his best to follow the 911 operator's directions with applying pressure to Nipsey's chest. And he said it was a hard thing for him. And he said it was only then, when the paramedics arrived, when they lifted Nipsey Hussle up onto the gurney, that his brother realized that he also had a bullet wound to the back of the head. But he did clarify why nobody shot back is because Nipsey Hussle had a program where he was hiring felons, and so a lot of those felons were having a hard time getting a job coming back. So he hired a lot of them, so a lot of them were not able to carry weapons. That's why when the assailant did shoot Nipsey the first time, he darted off. And then he doubled back, and when he realized that nobody was firing, no rolling 60s was falling out, shooting, there wasn't going to be a shooter, so he kept coming back. He kept coming back, and, of course, he did finish what he planned to do. But what is out on the wire, for the most part, is that somebody tipped some folks off as to where Nipsey was, and that's what happened. So that's why in the news on the street report, you started seeing random shootouts, and allegedly some of Eric Holder's family members were shot down. And then there were innocent people who seemingly had nothing to do with the situation pertaining to Nipsey Hussle, because many of the people, and then we don't want to say any names, many of the people who were akin to Nipsey Hussle didn't know who tipped the player off, the person off who came and gunned down Nipsey Hussle. That's what they were trying to figure out, who had tipped this person off, and why were they able to get up on Nipsey Hussle, given that he had made an appearance unannounced, yet somebody still was able to tag him. So that's why you started seeing and continuing seeing a random gun violence, just spurts here and there. And unfortunately, it looks like it's going to continue to trigger off other things as well, because, certain people have been displaced and removed. But that is essentially what really went down. And some people may say that sounds like a setup. More than likely so. If somebody tips off where your whereabouts are, remember now, prior to, Nipsey Hussle had to beef up security while he was on the DJ Khaled video shoot. And prior to, his brother said that he was concerned with his brother's safety. As Black Sam said, he was already concerned with his brother's safety, so he didn't want Nipsey running around, because Nipsey was the type of individual, he's going to show up somewhere because he's a man among the people. He's the people's champ. So in this situation, he showed up unannounced, like Sin stated, to help out a friend, yet and still somebody tipped someone off, and that person was able to get up on Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, so it's just a misfortune, Again, it wasn't the regular people in the community that did this to Nipsey. The people in his community loved him. They enjoyed him. He employed a lot of people within his community. And this was, somebody who was allegedly gang affiliated. This person took a opportunity to be a coward and to shoot him 5 times in the chest, 1 time in the head. And again, unforeseen, you could say, scenes and actions that just led to this particular point. But the reason why he didn't have security there, like all this conspiracy, military, none of those things happened. It's like if I was like to call Prince, right? And I'm like, Prince, yo, meet me here, so, because I really need this. It's really important. I need to have this right now. And let's say he usually have security, but I'm his friend, so he rushed down to that particular place and he's waiting for me so he could, just drop that stuff off and then he'd be on his way. So basically that's what took place with Nipsey, and the fans saw it was Nipsey, the people loved him there, so they're like, Nipsey, and then taking pictures and everything. And again, the person got tipped off that Nipsey was there,
yes.
And that's why that person came down there and did what he did.
Yeah, exactly. And again, to some of the people, look, it is what it is. We see people throwing names out there. We're not saying any names or anything like that. Again, it's an ongoing investigation, but we're just sharing, what the street report is going on, the people that are exactly in the area. That's why you see the ruckus and the confusion from within the circles in the camp, because they were really trying to figure out who tipped, certain people off, who tipped this killer off to Nipsey's whereabouts. And that's why we really understand, Sin. That's why, when you and I are talking, we really try to make it clear, to have active listening skills, you know what I'm saying, to be really thinking, even when we're ingesting a lot of the news reports, right?
Right.
So a lot of the news reports, they're actually kind of saying what really was taking place in so many words.
Well, some of them was misleading. They was like, daughter was there, this and that. They saw a photo. Like,
some of them, but
some of them didn't know what they were talking
for the
about.
most part, it's actually what has happened here, Sin, in this culture. We're having a lot of commentators that are a part of the misinformation machine.
Right.
So not even highlighting the correct clues that need to be highlighted. Mm-hmm. Everybody immediately went to Dr. Sebi documentary. I thought it was disrespectful. Nipsey just died. Why are we talking about Dr. Sebi? Okay.
Well, I think, some people wanted it to be more than what took place. They wanted it to be a battle with the government, a battle against something. They didn't want it to be either gang affiliated or based off of jealousy. Mm-hmm. They didn't like, John Lennon was walking down New York, got popped in the head by a crazy stalker fan. Sometimes people who fought for a lot of causes, sometimes it's not by the government. Sometimes it really is by jealousy, strife, a fan that's fucking cuckoo.
Well, sometimes it's just something petty. Sometimes people so big get snuffed out for something so petty. And the reason why, for me personally, just ingesting it, I think as a culture, even me, you have to step back and look and say, man, like we are really enthralled in escapism, even when it comes to a real human being's death. This was a father, this was a boyfriend, a spouse, this was a mentor, this was a brother, this was an uncle, this was a grandson, you know what I'm saying, this was a nephew. People forgo all of that and they kind of paint their own narrative. It's kind of like what they did with Heath Ledger with the Joker role, right? The last role that one of the last roles that he had. He did another film after that, but somebody like Michael J. White had clarified. He says, look, man, all of this Illuminati conspiracy fanfare that went on with Heath Ledger when he played the Joker, he says when we were dealing with him on the set, he was very happy, He was nice. He was funny. He said he had issues trying to sleep, but the real issue was the type of medication he was taking to induce a state of sleep in which, it was reports that many people were having issues, heart palpitations from that medication. But the fans went online and said it was this grand blood sacrifice, that Christopher Nolan was taking livers and spleens, and it was really ridiculous. So, even again, as you keep looking at these types of things that take place in real life, you do have to kind of look back and see how much of escapism many people within our culture we tend to be wrapped up in. But to simply put it, this was a situation, and even if you read the prior reports before Nipsey Hussle's death, there were prior reports that he even stated in some interviews that they were having some internal conflicts with certain situations that were going on. And what happened again, he showed up unannounced, yet somebody was tipped off. That's where you started seeing all the retribution. You started hearing all of these war stories and these war reports, because they were trying to figure out who tipped somebody off to come kill their man, who showed up unannounced. That's crazy. And I think that kind of went over a lot of people's heads, to be honest with you.
Yeah, also Parker said, his own brothers feel that it was a setup. Yeah, because it was a setup.
It was a setup.
You can't force it to try to be a Dr. Sebi thing when it's not. That's the problem. People want to force their own perspective instead of letting all the clear information come out. The information so far leads to it was a setup, but it was a setup of someone who was jealous towards him, someone who had hatred towards him. And now they're trying to figure out who was the one who even tipped off this person that Nipsey was there.
Well,
that is like the story is in everybody's faces. There's no need to try to spice it up with something else.
Part of the other angle of the same narrative is that, somebody or someone, may have been removing funds from the company. And that person was exposed, and that may have played a part into the greater scheme of the conflict that we saw leading up to the likes of Nipsey Hussle's death.
Right.
And again, Black Sam himself said, when he arrived on the scene, here he sees his younger brother laying on his backside, still breathing. Nipsey Hussle was still breathing. And the word is, once he asked the questions, what happened to my little brother, he found out that the assailant shot Nipsey twice initially, and then came back, shot him 3 more times, and an additional time in the head. But he did try to save his brother's life, but he said it was unfortunate. But he does feel it was a setup. That is what his own brother's saying, but not what the internet is saying. The internet is, I'm sorry, the internet mind is a bit stupid. And it takes them a time, if they ever get around to common sense. Okay, but all this other stuff and edited video and berserker guns, I'm telling you, I'm hearing all types of stuff. I'm seeing all types of thumbnails,
Right.
Magic bullet theory.
Well, and
it's just ridiculous.
Let's slow it down. It seems like people don't even know how government operate. If a government agent was sent out, whether it's CIA, FBI, the perpetrator wouldn't kick somebody in the head after that person has been gunned down and shot in the head. That is passion. That means you know that person personally, or you have an obsession with that person. That means some type of intimacy is there, whether it's all up in your head or maybe an old friendship, but that means there's something there. When it's done by a government agency, there's no passion there. It's just an act. There's no passion. You're just doing your job as a hitman or a hit woman. So, like, if it was something pertaining to Dr. Sebi, he wouldn't have kicked Nipsey in the head.
Look,
after he was already
now,
dead.
Here's the thing about it. The boy checking himself into a mental institution, okay, you have the Crips looking for you. You can't trust the LAPD, given the historical context of the LAPD. If we're talking about the Rampart scandal and so many other things, so forth and so forth. But then at the same time, though, you have to turn yourself in. He checks into a mental institution. Now, I saw some people that say, well, what is that about? It's probably more than likely the safest place for him to land. Possibly. Who knows? where we see it go from here with the appointment of Chris Darden looks wild. Chris Darden was the prosecutor in the O.J. Simpson case. Interesting. I think what's going to happen here, it looks like the media is probably already setting things up to milk the situation for possible ratings. That's what I personally see them going with as far as the court aspect of it. The fact that Chris Darden's name has been attached to the case, it's trending on Black Twitter. And Black Twitter makes things trend globally. So now the potential case is being trended all over. Now you're seeing news, channels, whether it's Fox, stations, news channels who never cared about Nipsey Hussle, wasn't concerned about the music, didn't know who from A from B, which rapper A from B. Now you're seeing them paying attention to. You're seeing Fox News analysts having the likes of, Judge Napolitano and all of these people breaking down the case and walking Greater America through it. So I think, to me personally, Chris Darden being injected into the case, it's building up to be a sensationalized case. And Eric Holder did plead not guilty, so that already has a public tight in a sense. So that's why we're just saying, when we do decide to report on the Nipsey Hussle situation, because we're being respectful to the situation in the family and associates and people that we pass, and people that reach out to us that are from within the inner circles of the Crenshaw family. We're just going to break down some facts, put it out there, ground the facts, and back away. We see everybody else doing their thing. Have at it, Hoss. If you want to pick off the pig, go ahead. But Sin and I, we're just giving it to y'all straight and raw, and we're just having a real conversation about the greater impact of this man's death. Because we already see certain people in the industry starting to rub his spirit kind of like a chakra stone. You know what I'm saying? Because we saw Future jump out there and say something wild. He said somebody, I think it was Scooter, I believe it's Scooter, the one that was signed with Gucci that was in Atlanta. But Scooter said something to the fact that, we needed more Nipseys out there, man. He was, out there doing his thing. And then Future decides to respond and says, yeah, there needs to be more real niggas like us. And then the internet ate him alive.
Well, and I think I'll give people a history lesson, because I think it's very important for people to start reading up on history, right? So we saw what happened to Gaddafi when we saw the military games that the NATO and the U.S. played, where they gave ammunition, guns to his rivals so they can drag him in the street with his half dead body, and then eventually dead body that was dragged and watched on national television, right? And we've also seen what happened to Lumumba, where, again, his rivals that were a part of you could say, colonialist empire dictators that basically took him and executed him. And then we've seen cold cut sniper shots, Martin Luther King, also Kennedy, right? Then we've seen things like John Lennon and other celebrities / activists that were gunned down by fanatics that were obsessed with them. When you look at the whole situation with Nipsey already talked about some people in his camp that were problematic. We saw what happened to Selena when she had a problematic factor in her camp. When they found out that person was stealing and it was brought to that woman's attention, that woman killed Selena. The person who was allegedly stealing from Nipsey, it was brought out. That person was told to vamoose. You're stealing. You can't be trusted. You're stealing, possible informant, all these other things, right? You're stealing, so you have to go, right? Then this person is harboring animosity towards Nipsey. Right there is a clear motive.
Yeah, and again, to be clear to everybody, nothing's official, but I will say is this. For all of those people that are tight right now, let me tell you what you've done, folks. You've allowed yourself to subscribe to hypothetical theories. You've allowed yourself to subscribe to people's fantastic voyages. I mean, some of these people, some of the conspiracy theories that they're waving and weaving and bobbing, it's like the people are along for the job. See, we forget as human beings, we enjoy great stories. We enjoy great stories. So if somebody approach you and say that it was an MK Ultra agent that gunned down Nipsey Hussle because he was doing a documentary about Dr. Sebi. Some of us human beings who love stories, remember now, it's easier for people to believe a lie because it lends to the imagination. If somebody walked in the room and you didn't know somebody sitting in the corner, somebody walked in and said, yo, you know homeboy over there is a thief, bro. Word, man, I ain't even know that. Thanks, peep. Why did you believe that? See, that's what we tend to do. And what I'm saying in this situation, and I'm just being honest with you, once again, rap fans, being the dumbest of all genres, have disappointed me again. I'm just keeping it real. I see people act like they want to be balanced with the reporting of Nipsey Hussle's death, and then they want to come back with conspiracy theories. And then when the conspiracy theories look like they can't have any legs and they don't want to look like stupid idiots because we're so egotistical, then they come back and just start talking like they never said no wild stuff. What's the little dude's name? The little Muhammad brother that was down there on the scene, Rizza, Pizza, whatever his name is.
I don't know. Go ahead. Oh, the one who was the witness, the alleged witness.
He says, "I'm gonna tell you what it was. I'm gonna tell you what it was. It was 3 snipers that came in. They killed Nipsey Hussle.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
So
wait.
Shut the fuck up.
And that's why I just want to add to that too. Again, like people forget about Judas. The whole Jesus to Judas story, even if you don't believe that Jesus ever existed or Christ, whatever. Mm-hmm. The whole point is you've had people in history,
right,
who had passion towards other people in the most negative way. People forget there's a thin line between admiration and envy. I mean, we saw that with Julius Caesar. We've seen people get stabbed by
Brutus and Julius Caesar right there. Brutus.
And that's why, look, I understand that some of the people who are trying to throw stones,
yes,
are either trolls, so I don't pay attention because I know people try to get attention. I could tell, like when you're really thirsty, you could tell people who are really thirsty by their comments. But then you could tell from people who just
don't nobody get no attention but my baby.
Yeah, but then you could tell people that just need to read a little bit more. You really need to read on history because there's so many different levels. Yeah, sometimes it's the government.
Right.
Sometimes it's inside job. Sometimes it's a mixture of both. Sometimes your side man or chick or whatever, just they hate you.
Y'all saw Scarface.
You know?
Y'all saw Scarface. You saw what Tony did to Manolo. Right? We saw what Nicky Santoro did to Sam Rothstein. How many times we got to hear this story play out? And that's my thing about it. I just don't look. I actually love the energy of Nipsey Hussle as a human being and, of course, as a rapper. But the human being is first. Because what Tupac did in his career and what he was able to accomplish within his career, Nipsey was able to accomplish outside the parameters of music. Music was just a vessel for him to get to where he needed to get. Visibility, marketing, all of that. He used that to put back into his community. And all these people got wonderful stories about Nipsey Hussle, man. He was bringing my husband chips and water in the morning every day when he got on the light pole to update the light poles in the community, and all these wonderful stories. So for just for Sin and I, just from a humanitarian standpoint, I just think when I see guys show up to the crime scene and say it was 5 snipers moving in and out, and you look really goofy and absurd, and you couldn't wait to post on your social media, then you want us to believe you on some black righteous stuff. And the thing is, you have to understand this. Nipsey Hussle in his music was well aware of jealousy, animosity, and envy within his own circle. The man rapped about it. He rapped about it on Bullets Ain't Got No Name Volume 1 and 2, the Slauson Boy Project, the Crenshaw album, the Marathon, the Victory Lap album. He rapped about it. He was very well aware of that. And so was Tupac. What we had to take in mind and keep
Well, stop right there, too.
What?
People forget they keep, what they cry about the government. The person who has more passion, who actually has passion toward you, gets you a lot of time even before the government.
Yes.
Like you said, Tupac talked about a lot of niggas who hated him.
And they
who
did.
wanted him dead.
And they did.
Let's not forget what happened in the studio that night. It wasn't no government agents that shot Tupac when he was recording that night.
Oh, you talking about Quad Studio?
Right.
Quad Studio, that was a situation that a black-ass mob boss nigga put the hit out on Tupac.
What's that Haitian Jack nigga?
Yeah, not the Haitian Jack.
No,
Haitian
the
Jack
other
was
one.
Wyclef's cousin, the agent. Now, that one, he was an agent, but the one, y'all know what I'm talking about, the one that was games manager at one time. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the one that he went to jail. Say his name in the chat. I'm gonna give you $0. If whoever says his name in the chat, I'll give you $0.
I'll give you $1. But that's my thing.
But that's who pressed the button on Tupac at the time.
Hey,
Jimmy Henchman. Thank you very much.
Right, we made a video on Jimmy. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was Jimmy Henchman who got Tupac shot up. Now, why are we living in fairy tale land? Like everybody is somehow have amnesia. And there's no niggas that get close to other niggas that sabotage other niggas.
Again,
and
this is my thing about it. Now, I want to be clear. I want you all to be clear what we're saying. We saw what happened with the likes of Fred Hampton. We saw why Stokely Carmichael moved around the way he did. We saw what happened with Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm X. And then we saw what happened with the likes of Martin Luther King.
Yeah, can you stop right there?
Also, real quick, I want to say this. And we saw what happened with Marcus Garvey as well. Now, this is what I'm saying here. And this is what Sin and I, what we're saying. What is taking place in this situation? I think to some degree, we tend to have amnesia when it comes to our rappers. First of all, wait a minute, Sin, before I continue, you wanted to make a statement. What were you going to say?
I was going to stop at the Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Malcolm X, the government didn't like Malcolm X, but let's not forget he got hot lead in the chest by brothers who wanted to get rid of him.
They were all, wait a minute, wasn't there already jealousy?
Right? There were.
In the nation?
There was already infighting.
There was already infighting and bickering.
Yeah, and I think people forget, like, when you even look at empires of the past, even before you talk about other rivalries of warring nations, people had to also look over their shoulder from people in their own camp. If you look at in Rome, they had a lot of infighting and a lot of messy situations that took place. Sibling rivalry, cousins, the whole 9 yards. The same thing in Africa too, in Asia, right? Even sometimes before you even get to a warring nation, right? That is also a reality when it comes to certain people camps, like what we saw, like you said, with Malcolm X. But go ahead, Prince, you wanted to move on to something else.
Oh, no, it's good. No, this is good. This is good stuff here. Because we had to keep in mind about this thing called jealousy and this thing called envy and this thing just called betrayal. Nipsey Hussle was betrayed. You know, that's the first thing his brother says. His brother does a few interviews with LA Times. I suggest you all check them out.
So his brother said that Nipsey was betrayed.
He felt like it was an execution. Okay?
Now can we pose this to the chat? Are you saying that he got betrayed by the government?
He didn't say the government.
I don't think he ever fucked with the government, guys.
Yeah, he didn't say the government. His energy seemed more direct towards the inner circle. You know, the reason why we're saying slow down with a lot of these things because first of all, on social media, there's no time to think. There's just no. It's not a culture of thinking. There is no time to think. Things are just coming at you 100 miles an hour. It trends. You turn around, you go to the restroom, and then you say, all right, I want to comment, and then it's not trending anymore.
Right. And also,
and then so
go ahead. I'm sorry, Prince. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so this is what I want to say real quick. Now, a lot of you conscious dudes, and I'm just going to keep it real, a lot of y'all did not fuck with Nipsey Hussle. Now, you can pay respects to the works of a decent human being in their community. That's a different story. But the way some of these people are going hard and they're angry, I hope you are doing that for the people who are alive right now that need your support. There's people in Detroit right now that need your support. You can pay your respects to Nipsey Hussle, whether you mess with his persona or not. But what you can do is pay respects and help those people within your community. That's my thing about all of this. You know, Nipsey did what Nipsey was supposed to do, and he understood. In fact, Nipsey, if you listen to his interviews, the man spoke without fear. I call him Daredevil. He was the man without fear. I'm going to tell you something what I don't like about the narrative that's being spun here. Now, if you want to see what the real agenda is the end result of many of our black multimillionaires and what they're saying. Once again, it's time to condemn black people. Once again, it's time to say that black people do not deserve anything. Once again, it's time to say that black people are inhumane. I want to pause the music real quick. I'm going to pull a sincere. So I watched Charlemagne the God. I watched Noriega. I watched Fat Joe. I watched, who else did I watch? I think I pretty much watched all of these guys.
All niggas who's waiting for and the one hypothetical nigga.
Who's that?
Fat Joe.
Yeah,
all
Fat
waiting
Joe.
for the opportunity to say why they shouldn't do anything.
So here's my thing about it, and I want to quantify this for them right now. First of all, this is what you all have to understand. You all are celebrities. Let's make that clear. Whether you are T.I., whether you are a Charlemagne the God, whether you are a Joe Budden, or whether you are a Fat Joe. You are a celebrity. Fix your commentary on the black community. Correct yourselves. Because you could be any celebrity and you can end up like Versace. Versace was a celebrity. It wasn't about, oh, well, you know, that's why you can't come back to Miami. You know, you can't help out Miami because you see what they do. They pull you down. No, you're a celebrity.
Can you pause right there? That's a great point.
Yeah, I want to make that very clear. Noriega, you are a celebrity. Charlemagne, you are a celebrity. Stop talking to us like it's just black people killing their own. You are a celebrity. You know how many white celebrities that didn't have their bodyguards intact that somebody got the drop on them that look like them?
A lot in history, especially during the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
In fact, there's more white celebrities who have gotten murked that somebody's gotten the drop on them, especially from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s, than that of black celebrities. I don't like this narrative that's going around here, and it's a very cowardly, irresponsible narrative that I see, unfortunately, a lot of my black brothers who are multimillionaires that they're pushing. No players, y'all celebrities. So you need to have your bodyguard. T.I., you supposed to have a bodyguard. Charlamagne, you supposed to have a bodyguard. And you don't show up anywhere that's undesignated, that's uncoordinated, without security forces. That's just principle. You all are walking piggy banks. And that's you guys, and the thing I don't like about this narrative.
Any public figure.
Yeah, all of y'all, what I don't like about this narrative.
YouTubers who got hit who became popular.
Exactly.
There's some white girl who got hit. You had Zach TV who he's black. He got hit. You got bring up Zach TV right there. Once you become famous, you could still be an average Joe. Your bank account could still be
zero,
10,000 a month or 20,000 a month. Once a sizable amount of people know who the fuck you are,
that's it.
Anyone can get you for any fucking reason. I didn't like the way you looked in that video. I didn't like that topic you talked about.
There you go.
You know, I really like you so much that I want to kill you.
Look at this. You know how many people that I knew growing up who looked like they had some money, and when somebody ran up on them and they didn't have no money, somebody still shot them. They survived, but the person got mad and shot them anyway. So that's what my thing is about the narrative right now with Fat Joe, with Charlamagne the God, with all of these people say it makes you wonder if you want to go back to the hood. Well, it makes you wonder if you want to go to fucking Arizona without security. That's what it makes me wonder. So let's quantify this correctly. Nipsey Hussle got set up, okay? There's a difference. Nipsey Hussle got set up. You know how many other people? We had mob bosses. We've had more mob bosses that have been set up, more Italian dons in the state of New York who have been set up, in the state of Nevada who have been set up. When you get set up, a betrayal is a betrayal. The issue is not the black community. The issue is loyalty.
And that's what all communities face. And don't get me wrong. No, there's things that we also believe that in our communities to be fixed. But you gotta angle things to the appropriate conversation. I think with black people, just everything becomes black. Every fucking thing. It don't matter what it is. It's like everything becomes a black thing, and it's weird. And I know someone. I think Jay said I don't think so about white celebrities ended up dead. No, there's a bunch of them that ended up getting killed by stalker fans.
Stop it. Do your research. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. In our culture, and I'm talking about us millennials.
Oh, can I say one real quick? I mean, I know people don't watch The Voice, but there was a female named Christina
Grimes.
She was killed by a fan signing autographs. Look, anytime you're in the public, it's like you go to a convention. I mean, literally everything you do, you could die once you're known to the public. I'm just being honest.
And also, I want you to understand this, players, because that's what it said. The real issue is loyalty. And here's my thing too. For some of y'all out there, which one is it? Is it black people's fault, or is it that the government killed Nipsey Hussle? Because that's another thing I don't like about this conscious wave, this fake conscious wave of all these fake conscious conspiracy theories. Because y'all have two narratives and y'all are pushing it through the same tunnel. It's black people's fault and the government killed Nipsey Hussle. There was a guitarist by the name of Dimebag. He was killed on stage.
There's a guy in the real
DOE was shot in the club while performing. Like Sin said, the Voice sister, the Voice girl, she was shot while signing autographs.
You even had the Real World when they used to not have things staged. I can't remember, like season 3 or something. There was a punk rocker on stage. He sticked his tongue out. Literally, someone in the audience went up and bit his fucking tongue off. That, like, anytime, again, you're dealing with the public, some funky shit can happen. Let's not pretend otherwise.
Also, real quick, and I want to go to somebody's comments. I said I wasn't going to do this before the stream, but then again. Jay Hindle says, young black rappers killed in the last several years on the street alone would rival that. And you know what? You're absolutely right. Now, there is where you will see a split. And since that is the case, I want you to pay attention to that. We recently just had Bankroll Fresh and Extentacion. We've had the historical connotations of Big L out in Harlem. We saw what happened with the likes of Camouflage. We saw what the likes that happened with the likes of even some of my Houston legends. Man, Big Hawk. Big Hawk was shot in the back. You already know. HAWK. So, I mean, my thing is this.
That goes into that whole gang culture and gang affiliation, and sometimes rappers getting their startup money from gangs.
Well, real quick, though. Thank you, MC. You brought up Stack Bundles. Fat Pat, too. See, this is what I'm saying. All of these brothers who were dearly departed, even Chinks, there was betrayal in the armor somewhere. The chink was betrayal in the armor. Why aren't y'all saying it was a government hit on all of those brothers? There was a betrayal in the camp. That's what it is. That's what it is. And it actually, unfortunately, it's a time to try to exercise wisdom and say, yo, who is really with me? And who isn't?
And to go back to rap culture, which is the subgenre of hip hop as a culture.
Yes.
You know, no one's denying that particular culture is more dysfunctional in the sense of what they celebrate.
Mm-hmm. Because the connotation of overt violence.
Right. We're making nuances within the black community because what took place with Nipsey actually wasn't a black community thing. That was a setup. That was inside. That was jealousy. That was that. Right. And then when you talk about these rappers, right, a lot of them are gang affiliated or they live life on the edge, right? That's like when you saw at the time in the 80s and stuff with the punk rock bands out in London as well. Punk rockers in New York and in London used to get into a lot of fights because they used to also be involved in gangs, right? So you also had the Sex Pistols in them. They would go out to pretty shady parts of town, get drunk, aggressive music, a lot of fighting, a lot of people that actually got killed and stabbed. Now, punk music has more in common with rap in the sense of the aggression, the testosterone, the going out into dangerous areas, dangerous territories, and also glorifying criminal activity, right? So no one is denying that is problematic. But at the same time, you're talking about a subculture, right? And you're using that subculture to subjugate all black people. And that subculture is a small pie of the black community, though problematic, because I'm so sick of people overly amplifying it, so much so that it makes me want to vomit because it's overly used. And we also see how people really ignore a lot of these positive kids out here that going to universities or trying to start up their business, but nobody wants to help them because they're too busy trying to help Kodak Black, or they feel so fucking sorry for him as a community. So yeah, those things are problematic, but you have to have the nuances and dissect it. Too many times people feel comfortable when it comes to black people to not have any nuances. They just throw out shit.
Well, that's because black people as a collective, we have to be comfortable with calling out our own bullshit, and we cannot succumb to a monolith way of thinking and peer pressure. You know, my problem again with all of this is that there's no real clear thinking. There's a lot of irrational thinking. There's a lot of hurt people. There's a lot of emotionalism. I mean, it hurts. Like it hurts for me to play this man's music, but it's inspirational at the same time when I play Victory Lap. It's inspirational, but it does hurt when I hear his voice, because you felt and you knew that this man represented everything that he said in the positive sense. And also, I do want to say this too, because I'm not going to debate a bunch of avatars about who killed Nipsey Hussle. I have no idea, but what I do know is that what the narrative that we're hearing, all of this hocus pocus, Dr. Sabi is Nipsey Hussle's father. That's literally a narrative out there that people are arguing with. Shouts out to Queen Vonna, by the way, as well. I'm going ahead and give you a
I saw the check, nigga.
She says, all love to y'all TC and the TC fam. It feels great to see y'all grow. Rest in power to Nipsey Hussle. I hope more people put more energy to his plans. Yeah.
Oh, we really appreciate that, and also the donation to everybody who donates to us. We still independent.
Yeah, definitely. So here's the thing about it. It to me, when I was younger, like 7, 6, 7, 8, Tupac died. I saw his pictures, and you grow to love the man's persona and image as you got older. There was things you agree with, there was things you disagree with. With the Nipsey situation, I was actually actively conscious, just like a lot of you all were able to see him grow. And so, like I told you, man, a part of it for me when I hear the victory lap, it's very painful. But other parts of it, what the man was saying, what he's saying on those records is very inspirational. Hustle and Motivate is a classic track. But this is what I will say that we have to be careful, too. Because there's an agenda, and it's not what you all think it is, and it's not what some of us think it is. The agenda is a selfish agenda by people who are espousing certain narratives.
Charlemagne, Funk Flex, what you already just, what you just said a couple of minutes ago, like these people say, hey, we're not gonna have to. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
You have areas in North Carolina that are predominantly black that don't have high crime rates. Why don't you take your ass over there and build up that community? They're even in South Carolina. You go look up in area vibes, right? Because I went to look it up. There are a lot of majority white areas in South Carolina that has an F on when it comes to when it comes to crime. It's not, their neighborhoods aren't safe. South Carolina is also the place where we saw the black church get shot up by Dylan, the terrorist attack.
Dylan Roof,
he went to the church and shot up all those black people. So a lot of areas in South Carolina has a fucking F when it comes to crime. But this is what you said that it blows my it blows my mind how dumb a lot of these black celebrities are, right? Yeah. You're saying you won't help the black community when you have multiple choices of black communities that have a B+ rating if you want to even be safe. Let's say you really care about your safety, right? You will go to a white community that has a C+ rating
and get your ass lynched.
But you won't go to a black community that has a B+.
Well, the thing
is stop it.
And that's why I wanted to correct the preference. And you know what? And I want to say this disclaimer: anybody we ever talk about, mention, joke, we are open. Have your people contact us or our people, and we'll set it up. We'll set up if you want to debate, if you want to scream, shout, if you want us to go back. I will chop it up. I will debate Charlemagne. I will debate Fat Joe. I will debate any of these people. We will debate any of these people. We'll have a conversation with any of these people. But what I will not do, players and playettes that are talking this nonsense, is not let you pull a sheep over everybody's head. At least my head. Because I'm listening to all of this scary shit. Like, I'm looking at Noriega, like, nigga, what's with all this scary? Nigga, you Capone and Noriega. And now it makes you wonder. But player, first of all, you're a celebrity. You guys, millionaires, make up a small percentage of the American population. A majority of the average American is struggling. That's white and black. Black people in some cases, and in a lot of cases, a little more. But nonetheless, millionaires, a multi-millionaire to billionaire class makes up a small percentage of the population. So that means if you take out Charlemagne the God, right, and you take off his Rock Nation hat and you drop him in the middle of, let's say, Memphis, Tennessee, he balling compared to every Negro and every white person in that vicinity. What you all are saying is that as celebrities, you guys are concerned with your safety. The Nipsey Hussle situation shook you up, but you didn't look at the Nipsey Hussle situation in context. Okay? It's like when John F. K. Jr.
That bright to begin with.
Yeah, it's like when John F. K. Jr.'s plane went down, right? it shook up a lot of people. It shook up a lot of people who were amateur pilots, and there's special situations that was happening with him, but it still shook up a lot of amateur pilots. And what I'm seeing is a terrible narrative that these black millionaire celebrities are espousing to the poor black to middle class public. It's saying, well, it's just like, man, it makes you wonder going into black communities, man, am I going to get gunned down? Player, no, that's not the case. And
you get gunned down going into any of the fucking places you can go to. What are you talking about? You could get a mass shooting anywhere. Yeah. You could get gunned down anywhere.
And then real quick, another thing that I'm also paying attention to, and I want you all, have you all noticed this? Have you all noticed this while you're listening to some of your, have you noticed how in depth Nipsey Hussle's persona and the things he's done for his community, how small it's made some of these narcissistic rappers. When I saw Future jump out there like that, I says, wow, he really must feel small.
Y'all should be caring about me. I've done some things too.
He must feel small. Have y'all noticed this? A lot of your favorite rappers there's some of them that call themselves conscious, and I've listened to them talk about, like, how do you happen to put up a video and you talk about on the day Nipsey Hussle is dead, you say, oh, well, bad things happen, but you just got to go harder. What? So you decide to upload a video that day and not mention, at the very least, pay, respects to this brother's name. That's my thing about it. And see, that plays into the disloyalty, the jealousy that we're talking about here.
Y'all niggas are disloyal.
That more than likely contributed to Nipsey Hussle's death. Because I'm listening to a lot of these dudes, and when they're talking about Nipsey Hussle, it's either they don't want to say his name, or his death and the things he contributed and the love he has been getting makes them feel small, or they bring it back to them. And they talk about, yeah, man, because when we fighting for the people, bro, you doing Instagram posts about Gucci and Louis Vuitton is not the same as what Nipsey Hussle and his brother and his family were doing in Crenshaw.
And remember what took place in that movie theater where people got gunned down. Mm-hmm. That didn't stop me from going to the movie theaters. Went
right in there and watched Black Panther.
Right. I'm not going to, it got to be more diverse to black areas, though, for me.
Chocolate.
Yeah, I cannot go into the,
don't want to smell like ammonia.
Because I have to be looking over my shoulder. But look, the whole point is, I walked around so many predominantly black communities, and I stay away from bad areas.
Yeah.
That's the thing. These niggas don't even say, I stay away from bad areas. Just keep it as simple as that.
Stay away from all black people.
All black people.
Stay away from all black people. All black. I don't want to mess with no more black people.
In my 20,
Lord, give me a sign.
My 20-something years on this earth, in predominantly black areas, I haven't gotten jumped. I haven't gotten shot. I haven't gotten stabbed. Believe it or not, black people, you can actually be in black areas and those things not happen to you, okay?
Well,
now, for those who bad things have happened to,
right,
and you just mind your business whether you was in a bad area or not, I'm not saying that 100% absolutely nothing will happen to you just by staying out of bad areas. Your percentage of something bad happening will go down. But life shows you that anywhere, anything can happen. But
you know what? And the thing is, and I'm going to keep it real with you. Now, when I was younger, what was I about? 12 or 13? I got jumped by Crips. I got jumped. They whooped my ass. Yeah, I fought back, but it was too many of them motherfuckers. And they were older than me. I had all types of shit happen to me. Did I have a hatred towards black folks? Like, I don't want to be around no black folks? Nah. There's some people, I know they get cut off in traffic by one black woman or man. They don't want to be around no more black folks. Like, that's all that happened. Like, here, I got my ass kicked. I saved my brother's life, but at the same time, I got fucked up in the process. But I ain't like, I can't stand it. No, man, I just said, whatever, it is what it is. But at the same time, I just look at, you just look at troubling and forewarning behaviors. Like, that, I can be in Old Baytown and see two white boys with bald heads walking towards me at night. I'm going to be suspicious.
You said that? Now, you made a great point. I talked about my experience with black people And I've stayed out of a lot of fucking white areas that I did not trust. I size up communities pretty quickly, fairly quickly. I'm not fucking with with none of that. There are a lot of white communities I don't fuck with. There are a lot of Asian communities I don't fuck with. Like, people trying to make this shit about, oh, it's just scary black people. You can't go to them because everywhere black, you can't do nothing for your people.
Then I'm looking at some of us. Why are we liking multi-millionaire nigga statuses who stay in Calabasas? How are you agreeing with a rich nigga who got a special brand of toilet tissue to wipe their ass when most white communities you would not go to?
Well, and let's talk about the type of black people this is too. Charlamagne, you was doing dusty shit in dusty areas. That's why you look at black people a certain way.
Bro, you was trolling people in New York. Them New York niggas spoke back.
Right, and even in your time in North Carolina, you wasn't hanging out with the black, a different world. You wasn't, hanging out with that type of black people during your growing up. You was fucking around, which is why you have a negative attitude and viewpoint towards black people. Those who have a more positive viewpoint or balance, either they've seen both sides or they've been around certain types of black people, a diversity of black people that aren't engaging in regressive mindsets or behaviors.
We just have to
it's that simple.
We just have to be careful about our narrative, but I will say this. Well, thank you very much, King Hebrew. I appreciate you, player. Well, I will say this, though. I find it remarkable. I think, saying not only that we're talking about the misinformation these rich black celebrities are giving to the people who don't have their money, I gotta disagree. I gotta disagree with you, D.L. Hughley. I gotta disagree with you, Steve Harvey. Right? Gotta disagree with you, Charlamagne the God. All the Noriega. I mean, come on.
We'll talk about D.L. Hughley real quick.
Yeah.
He came from a background with the whole gang thing.
Yeah, it's like I have to disagree with y'all. First of all, of course, you guys are going to look at the general population questionable anyway because you're millionaires. You're very rich people. Either somebody's always going to want something from you because you have notoriety and you have money to match it. Some people have notoriety and they don't have the money, and people still want something from them. Nevertheless, you have notoriety. So that's the real issue. Now, Nipsey Hussle's brother brought up those concerns to him, but he spoke to his brother. It's like, yo, you still a celebrity player. You just kind of got to balance some things out. You might not be loved wherever you go. And, not only that, people, we're concerned for your safety. That's no different than if Julia Roberts at one point in time in her career had left the house and the sisters are like, yo, her brother's like, yo, where's my sister at? You know what I'm saying? You have notoriety. Your face is known out here. But a lot of these very ignorant brothers then got online, and here come the big old black spook in the closet talk. And we're very much beyond that. But I will say this, though. What I find equally fascinating, because all of this is still fascinating to me about how the culture responded to Nipsey Hussle's death. I still don't like the fact that he's dead. It is troubling. But I'm very intrigued with how the culture has chosen to respond to his death, in a sense. And there's no articulation of intelligence in the process. And those people who are kind of like, oh, I don't want to rush to conclusion. You have an angry mob telling them that, what's wrong with y'all? But I do find it fascinating that even a lot of these so-called blacktivists, these blacktivist dudes, like when I hear them narrate Nipsey Hussle, like the people who were close to him, like Byron Davis and, the way that even the homie like YG and all of them cats, everybody on the West Coast for the most part is like, it's just they speak about him. They don't bring it back to themselves. They may say, yo, you showed me some things. It's always a humbling thing. But when you start getting out of the, like, kind of the West Coast energy, and you start kind of getting to the general populace, not every celebrity, but a lot of these, especially these blacktivists who they want to, who can reach Garvey status first, they always bring it back to them. And I think, to be honest with you, Sin, like, even listen to what Future said. I've been preaching and teaching for 10 years.
You haven't been preaching shit. But lean in your gut, nigga. Shut the fuck up.
He said...
Them blonde tips on your fucking head.
But you know what's crazy, though? You can only judge a man and a woman by the works they leave when they out of this world. You see what I'm saying? It's different when... somebody dies and you like, yo, man, they had some dope music. But for people to say, yo, he hired my daughter. He gave me a job at 54. Yo, he opened the school for me. Yo, he paid my rent. This, that, and that. Like it. And Nipsey Hussle, I'm not trying to be funny.
Like what you saying? They want to condemn all them good, hardworking people for one allegedly gang affiliated hateful nigga that killed Nipsey, and they want to erase thousands of good people.
Yeah.
For one dusty nigga.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep it real with you too, man. Nipsey Hussle, even if you want to go back to when he came out with Hustle in the House and go look at his interviews, he had been talking the same way in interviews. They was like, yo, Nipsey, yo, you a gangbanger. He was like, no, of course I'm a gang member. I can't renounce it because it's a part of who I am, and if I do, it's like I was never serious about it. But he says I've moved on to more positive things. But what I will say is this, you all, this does make you look at a lot of your conscious rappers, the ones who claiming all this pro-blackity-black stuff. Are you really putting in that work? Because a lot of these guys find out their egos got checked. And you know what they say, Sin? Sometimes you find out you ain't the big dog until the big dog walk in the room.
Right.
And a lot of these guys have been in our face with all this hashtag Black Lives Matter, ninnying us, poo-pooing us, getting on us for buying a box of popcorn, getting on us for drinking Coca-Cola. We don't drink Coca-Cola.
That's not good for
we
you.
get allergies, but I'm not shaming nobody that does. It's none of my business.
Well, it's not about. I wouldn't shame. First of all, I'm not shaming nobody for how they eat. Period. I would just say, yo, that's poison though. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
But here's my thing though.
Not nobody's mammy.
But these people, they go beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm listening to them talking about, man, rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle, man. But see, this is what it's like when we out here fighting for y'all. What?
A lot of y'all are not fighting for us. Stop lying.
Stop being egotistical. I will say this. One thing you got out of that man is that he seemed like a very humble guy. And I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of these, and you know what? Sin. We in the era of the black millennials now. A lot of, even though, because the black millennials, a lot of millennials have become the celebrity in many, they've had a chance to at least enjoy whiffs of celebrity, right? So celebrity to them is not so much what it was to the previous generations, right? So, like, a lot of you black celebrities, I'm going to keep it real, a lot of y'all are already on your last leg with the audience. That's why Future got his ass cooked the way he did.
All right. Yes and no, though, Prince. I don't think really in this culture people are on the last leg because it depends on how things are packaged. It's like, when we look at films, right? And we talk about Killmonger, who, he shot his girl before he killed Claw, right? Now, in any other situation, if he didn't have that black hipster dreaded haircut, wasn't fit, wasn't attractive, wasn't an alluring storyline, if a fat, ugly nigga shot his girl and had just no regard for her life, a black woman, in any other situation, somebody would be like, ugh. But packaged the right way, people can be seduced by almost anything, depending on how you make it look for them.
That's never going to go away. But the fact that the audience can engage directly with the celebrity and the celebrity can hear their complaints immediately. The audience.
People been complaining about Jay-Z for 10 years.
Jay-Z, but Jay-Z is come on, that's a terrible example. How old is Jay-Z?
But no,
he's 50, right?
But yeah, but still,
he's not on social media like that. Like when you talk about somebody like Future's ass is on social media and being arrogant on top of that.
Yeah, but Chris Brown has made a lot of gaffes on social media. He was able, and he still sold a lot of records.
Okay, but still, here's the thing, though.
I have a whole list of celebrities.
And I have a whole list of context, too. I'm talking about context. I'm not talking about in the general space of celebrity. It's like right here, right? When the audience decides to cook someone and the person had made the wrong move and they stepped on the right landmine, right?
That's just for the moment.
Well, no, that doesn't mean no. Cause see, I'm gonna leave that to Black Girl Magic. That's their cancel culture. I'm not a part of the cancel culture.
No. I'm talking about. We're talking about the audience in general.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm
and
just
we're
saying.
Talking about.
Yeah, but let me finish my point real quick before you go there. I want to finish my point. What I'm saying is this. They're not going to cancel Future. We know that. You and I, we're content creators, and we reported on some of these people, right?
Yeah, because people hate listening to the people. Yeah. Let's not forget that.
We've seen people go left and right. They hate Meek Mill one day, then he's Martin Luther Meek King the next.
You see it in our own comment section. People say they hate us, and then they come back a month later.
But to be fair, though, to the audience, to be fair to them, when they do fish fillet fry somebody's ass, they do it nice. And I thought
that's somebody they weren't fucking to begin with.
Whoa, hold on. Let me finish my point.
Like
Let me finish.
I'm
not talking about Iggy. That's so
I'm
extreme.
giving
That's
you an example. They
canceled Iggy.
No, but I'm telling you,
Iggy got canceled.
People cancel people they never fucked with.
Hold on, no. But again, what did I say? I'm not talking about the cancel culture. So let's not go to that extreme. I think the cancel culture is stupid and it's emotionalism, and they never seem to cancel the right folks.
So then, where's the disagreement? I'm trying to wait.
There is no disagreement. You're an East Coaster, number one. Y'all always talk from a disagreement point.
No, you
but
say
let
you
me finish my point.
Let
me finish my point.
Go ahead.
All right, my point is this: is that I know Future got cooked and he got brought down to earth in that moment because he really had such an inflated ego. He compared himself to the works of what Nipsey Hussle and his folks were doing in that community. Now that right there is cultural mediocrity at its finest. This is the type of stuff that we've been talking about. It's like somebody sitting across from me in a barber chair talking about I can dunk on LeBron James.
Yeah, but
no,
that's what
you
we
can't.
see. You're using your own mind and you're trying to put it towards the whole audience. No. If someone has
what do you mean
right,
put it towards the old audience? That's what they did. They did cook Future in the moment. I'm not saying they're not going to cancel him, but they did educate him at that moment. And he thought he was going to fluff his feathers, and they educated him. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the cancel culture.
But that grows arrogance. That's the thing that people don't understand. If you're just always checking someone, but you still like them overall, that person going to keep doing it. That's why you had Kodak keep doing what he was doing. Because right after people so-called cooked him, he went on The Breakfast Club and everybody go, ooh, he's such a little cute little thing. Ooh. So cook it.
But that goes on.
In fact, that makes somebody even more arrogant. I would be an arrogant asshole. Every time I do something wrong, people cook me. Then they own me again.
Well, I mean, that's the state of celebrity,
They rocking with me again.
But that's the state of celebrity.
Which is why I said depending on how things are packaged.
But I'm just appreciating the moment. That's my personal perspective. Okay. I appreciated that they cooked his ass in the moment. Because I was like, look, fellow Scorpio. No, that's not what we do. Don't do that. Don't be a stereotypical Scorpio. Don't do that. Has nothing to do with you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Also, shouts out to Marvin. He says here, I really appreciate y'all show. Y'all keep pushing. Oh, yes, we will play it. We definitely appreciate you. I
saw the check, nigga.
There we go. But yeah, that's the whole thing about it, and that goes to like life though, Sin. I mean,
someone said Martin Luther Meek.
Yeah, it is. It's like Martin Luther Meek when he came out, and I mean, even with him, like at some point, all these guys that like, they kind.
So then you would say because I think we're going around about right now. So then you don't disagree with what I said. It's about how things are packaged. So you agree with that. Because it sounds like you're agreeing with me.
You need to look at the audience. I'm going to go ahead and shout out Brandon Burr. I'm going to let you read that one because I'm
not reading Brandon.
I saw the check.
Well, anyway,
so it sounds like
can you agree with your man?
It sounds like...
Damn, son. Where'd you find this?
You agree then that it's the way things are packaged.
Well, I see both perspectives.
What is both perspectives? Because once you said you didn't disagree, but now you're saying I see. What is the both perspective you're talking about?
No. Okay, so what you got to understand this. People, like, it's like a family member. Like, how many asshole family members do we have that we just haven't gotten rid of? We didn't say, oh, we not. At some point in time, you start fucking with them again. That's just human nature. Until somebody does something so blatantly disgusting to you personally, again, it's subjective. It's subjective. To you personally, then you may cut them off.
Okay,
Now,
that
let me
goes back to packaging.
Let me finish my point though.
All right, go ahead.
I am saying in the moment, I am talking about when they cooked Future and that fucking Dirty D pimp coat he had on. When they cooked his ass. And all of these guys right now in the moment, because you got to understand now, seeing we're dealing with death. We're dealing with death of someone who no one has come out forward so far and said, yo, Nipsey Hussle was an asshole. Nipsey Hussle was this. He was a jackass. He did this. He cut me up. Every story that came out about this, man. I'm not trying to be funny. It's almost like he's a perfect victim. And so in that, to the point of the packaging of what you're saying, the public is like, yo, chill on everything. Chill on all of this goofy shit. So when Future jumped out there with his inarticulate ass and said, we the same nigga, then everybody cooked him. Now, that doesn't mean I'm saying they're going to cancel Future.
I'm not talking
that's
about
all I'm saying.
canceling.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's still, okay, going back into the analogy I used with Killmonger, because I want to slow this down, right?
It's no slower than this.
No, it's not.
Come on, Sin.
That's why I just want to slow this down, right?
Sin is looking for a debate.
No, I'm not.
My babies. Do I have to find the Jeopardy music? Let me find the Jeopardy music.
Don't put on no Jeopardy music.
I'm about to.
Right. So, okay,
I want you to wrap this up in the next few periods.
This goes back to packaging.
No sauce.
Right.
I agree
if
with
somebody
the packaging.
else would have said what Future said.
Okay.
Who?
Give me an example of who.
Oh, I'll give you. Let's say it was Trump. If it was Iggy. If it was like a lot.
Why would you go that far to discuss
Miley Cyrus? Just like no, I could use whatever template.
Yeah.
Right. I'm using those three. Right.
All right.
There would have been a bigger outrage about it. People do react emotionally based off of the packaging of something.
Yes, that of course we both agree with. Yeah.
Right. That includes everything. That even includes family. Mm-hmm. So there's no disagreement there.
Sin, there is no. I told you that from the jump. There's no disagreement. That was you.
No, but there's no two perspectives.
Because look at your Wakanda women. They already getting angry because you getting angry.
No.
There you are. Now you got the women. Now Black Girl Magic is all pissed off. Shouts out to my niggas. I'm gonna have a no sim zone tonight.
Wait, stop it.
I moved on with my life.
No. Because this happens to us a lot.
Who?
They're getting
That happens to you.
They're getting.
I told you I have no disagreements here.
They're getting a glimpse into our relationship. This is what happens, which is why sometimes I want to wring his fucking throat.
See?
Right?
Anger issues.
Look,
I told you need the box.
We be all right when we have a topic or when we're talking to each other.
Now Sin is tailing on me.
Right. We talk on two different. Don't you do that?
I don't have time for this.
You almost made me call you by your government name. Can you please? Thank you. So when we're talking on a subject, he talks.
Is this what Pisces do?
Wait. He talks from one angle and I talk from the other angle. And I kid you not, we be saying the same fucking thing, right?
I have no problem.
And we talk for a whole 45 minutes or hours and hours as if there's some type of disagreement.
There wasn't, though.
But there isn't.
I said that, though. There wasn't.
You are being slick.
Sid.
You are being slick.
I'm not being slick.
You were trying to talk as if it was a disagreement.
Hold on. First of all, stop throwing out terms like slick, cunning, because that how that curtails the narrative.
You're being a slick southerner.
No. Oh, is that what you calling me? Is that what it is?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community.
I don't disagree with you, Sin. I didn't disagree with you. That's you and your aggressive East Coast tendencies.
You tried.
You got You about to tell me, calm down, son.
People call me.
I'm gonna tell you I'm not the one.
People try to call me a finesser.
Don't make me get my gun.
But if they truly listen to our conversations, they would realize you are the finesser.
So that's how I finessed you, right? Huh?
I saw the check, nigga. Huh?
Well, I do believe I left my boots up under your bed.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Because people always blame East Coasters for being slick. But
Don't nobody blame y'all for being slick.
Oh,
y'all are loud, abrasive. Y'all knocking this shit. Come on, get the hell out of here. Hey, don't nobody thinking no East Coast is slick. Everybody see y'all coming down the hill like a Tonka truck.
Did they see Trump coming?
Yeah, they saw his ass. And the Illuminati put his ass in there anyway.
But why?
That's what I believe. Look at all those white people.
Why did the white Southerners fall for him then? Why did they fall for the line?
I don't have anything to do with any crackers from any region. That is none of my business. You asking the wrong person. I'm not a cracker explainer. I'm not a cracker whisperer. I don't know what no cracker doing on the left, the south, or the east. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. So, Sin, baby, I told you I did not disagree with you. You and I, we've always talked about whether something is violence sexy or not.
Prince is gonna get mad because I'm gonna rewatch this so I can see that for myself. You better move on with your life.
You better move on with your life.
I'll rewatch it later.
You better move on with your life. Hustle gang. You know what I'm saying? But look, this is what I'm gonna tell you something right now, y'all. I'm open to a lot of this shit. We read a lot on conspiracy theories. You know,
some things aren't conspiracy; they're just true.
But I'm going to say this, and I know our luck. Somebody may reach out to us, but I will say this: so far, nobody on the other fucking end of this YouTube shit, and I'm talking about to these YouTube Negroes. I'm sorry.
What are you laughing at?
Queen said Prince is acting like the black version of Michelle Williams' ex-fiance. What the hell?
This is America.
Queen been banging on me for the past 18 live streams.
Well, Queen always bangs on you, though.
I don't even be paying attention to it with them misspelled names.
You better leave.
You got threes in there.
You better leave Black Girl Magic alone.
But anyway, shouts out to Queen. But look, man, I'm going to say this, man. Look, nobody's really providing us substantial proof. Can you guys honestly say somebody has given you unequivocal evidence about this situation in the conspiratorial sense, in the space of the government was killing Nipsey Hussle? I'm just being honest with you. Now, what I will say this.
Give me a clear-cut story. Give us a logical story.
Yeah, please give us something that we can follow.
Right. No, it's not nothing to do with Dr. Sebi. That's already been disproven. So don't come with that bullshit.
Please.
Come with something that is actually legit.
Thank you, man. This is
America.
This is the reason. This is my thing. Look, I'm going to be paying attention to this case very carefully. And Sin and I, in a responsible fashion, will report the things that are appropriate. And if we see some discrepancies, we will speak to those issues. And I'm sure if there are some discrepancies, guess what? It will come out. It's going to come out because all eyes will be on this case.
Right.
All eyes will be on this case. You're going to have people coming forward. And then on top of it, my question to y'all, and especially to some of you West Coast dudes who getting all on the microphone and being all conspiratorial, why aren't you taking your black asses into Crenshaw and asking questions? I bet you I'm going into Crenshaw and asking some questions.
Nah, I mean, but then that's how we've seen true journalists get popped.
Well, that means you're cowards.
Yeah,
that means you're cowards. You're making up shit from afar. That's what I'm saying. Then shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
If you ain't gonna go into Crenshaw, shut your ass all the way up and stop talking about it. I'm so sick of these YouTube safe niggas. It was 18 bullets.
Wait. If y'all want us to investigate in Crenshaw, you gotta give us the money.
Yeah.
For us to go down there.
And I'm serious about this.
We'll create a GoFundMe.
Yeah, because this is some shit that's like, man, I'm telling you, I be getting that nigga rage. I get triggered when I see certain titles regarding Nipsey Hussle. I can't believe this shit. This fucking video got 600,000 views.
Also, Queen,
what she said?
No, Fat Joe is not black. He's a hypothetical nigga. We call the Cardi B's the Fat Joes the hypothetical nigga.
Fat Joe is a lighter skinned T.I.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
You know what? And I know someday, knowing my luck, we're gonna run into any of these people, and I wouldn't care. I would not care. I really wouldn't. I just don't like all of this weird shit with the Nipsey thing, and I think a lot of these people are just using it as a moment to shine light on them. You know what I'm saying? But again, to all of you conspiracy theorist niggas, especially you out there in Cali, you out there in Compton, some of you niggas are right on Crenshaw. Won't come out the house. You coming up with all these theories, and you're debating people online, but you will not take your ass outside and ask those questions.
And look, I really don't care what any of y'all niggas think, though, to be honest with y'all. Just make sure y'all follow the show.
There you go.
And y'all support us. Because some people be getting insensitive with us, I don't care what y'all think, but I'm going to tell y'all what I think, but I'm not going to just get rid of people because they disagree or whatever the case is.
You mean canceled?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I'll get heated about is pedophiles with what you saw me with the R. Kelly thing. But outside of that, I really don't care.
There you go. I'm just telling you. Just telling you.
Because people be getting so sensitive with I'm gone, that crimes.
Your ass ain't gone. You still in the same seat.
And then they come back.
You talking about you gone and you still sitting there.
And then they come back and next week, I still don't like you guys. Decent video, but still fuck thought crimes.
What happened to just being able to do you do that in conversation? Like you hear somebody like in their face, you hear something you don't like, I'm gone.
Well, it's actually it's really alien to me because I never watch people I don't like. I've never commented to somebody's channel and be like, fuck you, or I just don't pay attention to them. Like I don't watch Vad TV videos. I don't watch Complex videos. There's a lot of people I just don't watch this shit.
You're just genuinely you're not interested in them.
Right. I've never understood people who just be like leaving comments everywhere. I'm like,
it's because you have to think about it like this. A lot of folks have abandonment issues, so they need the attention. That's why we're like the clout chasing culture is the post world star hip hop culture. So here you have a bunch of people who feel like they don't get enough attention, or they've gotten too much attention, and then they get in the real world and they find out people don't care about them like that. Because some people's bottoms were padded all through high school, all through middle school, all through elementary school. And then they get in that real workforce world and they find out they have a badge and an ID number and go sit down, and you have a 30-minute lunch break and you have two 15-minute breaks. So then they come home and they want attention. They want that clout. The clout era is the post-world star hip-hop era. So that's why all these people, the first thing they do is they come into any comment section, any artist, and they just like, I'm just starting to disagree, or I'm going to say outrageous shit to get attention.
Clout and selling fear. Like, I'll say this, too. Like, it's everybody just fear-mongering. I'm going to get shot, this and that. Look, anything can happen to you. Anything can happen to us. I'm not living my life in fear. I'm not staying inside the house all day like academics and just going there. Because I have to live my life.
You better live your life.
I have to live my life. We all have to live our lives. Like, anything can happen.
And that's
positive or negative. You could be doing everything right and just be a freak accident. Like, you still gonna have to live your fucking life.
Just living my life. And you know what? That's what Nipsey Hussle's story is about. Like, I'm so tired of these people judging him in death. Like, I saw Jay Prince. I'm like, player, you got armed guards around you. What are you talking about? You're not a man of the people. The people fear you.
Wait, can you do his voice?
I'm talking about typing on Instagram mentality. I'm talking about a new era with my sideburns mentality. Bro, it's like I'm just being real. Like we have to start. Like I want us to really dissect our culture. And look, we're going to pay attention to this case. At least I am. I'm going to be paying attention to this case. I'm going to see exactly what Chris Darden's role in is. All of this, how it's narrated.
Wait, don't Chris though. This nigga look like he about. Yes, this is gonna be high profile.
Yeah, that's what it look like.
Stupid
Because
face.
sometimes motherfuckers just want attention.
Wait, can you go back to the stupid face on the thing?
Yeah, look, I want you to like let's think about that. Like sometimes sometimes the shit just ain't that deep. Pause. Look at
that face, man.
Oh, I'm gonna be trending.
Right.
I'm gonna be trending on this one. Chris Darden went after O.J. Simpson at the height of the pandemonium of the white-black civil Olympic war over some big-headed coon, right? Then flip it so many. Yeah, flip it so many years later. There goes Chris Darden on the other side of black anger again. He right there, so he's
this is consistent with him clout chasing.
He's attention. Like
wait, because people like. Chris is involved. It means the government is. No. Chris has always been a fucking clout chaser.
Think about that. When black people thought they had it right about the big-headed coon, right? Chris Darden stood on the other side of the track.
They were playing football with OJ's head.
Yeah. Sodium head, blood pressure, high blood pressure, forehead. And then moving forward, black people are already hurt by the loss of the likes and the works of Nipsey Hussle, and boom, guess who's standing on the other side of black people's hurt again?
Right, because it's like Avenatti, right? Avenatti isn't going after R. Kelly because he's a pedophile, even though R. Kelly is a pedophile. Avenatti wants attention. Like,
because he also has aspirations for the presidency, although that may not happen because of his current legal issues.
Right. So people always be like, yo, if you get a high-priced lawyer, then that means somebody must be giving you that check. Not all the time. There are cases, minority cases. There are minority cases where you have high-profile lawyers who have been clout chasing all of their career, and they only do those types of cases, you know. So this falls into Chris's territory.
Yeah, man. Like when I saw it, I was like, that nigga want attention. He know damn well he wants attention.
That nigga face.
And he got a grudge against black folks anyway, because they ain't believe him when he was talking about OJ. That's what I see. That's what I see. I'm going to just keep it real. You know, I know, and like I said, like sometimes, I'm not trying to be funny, you all. Sometimes it's like a J. Cole verse. The shit ain't that deep.
Oh, you trying to go after J. Cole now?
I'm just saying. A lot of that shit ain't deep. You know, you know what I'm saying? You ain't giving me no Rakim Return of the Master, you know, so that's just what we're looking at when I look at it.
I'm tired looking at Chris in the...
With that burnt mark on his face. Boy, his face look like he got to wash that face. Is that a birthmark or did you miss a spot?
That's an evil stain. That's what it is.
That's his blacker rage.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, I'm just saying, bro, like we got to really look at all of this in context. But...
Oh, Brandy, I told you, see... When Prince is like a wildfire.
What you talking about?
Once he gets started, people you like eventually gonna get burnt too.
Right.
Y'all be stoking the fire. That's right, Prince. Oh wait, no, Prince, not him.
What are you talking about, Sin?
J. Cole. Brandon said not J. Cole.
No, I'm not saying J. Cole is trash. I'm just saying his verses aren't that deep. I'm sorry. I mean, I think people are more. They enjoy more of his wordplay, like when he just, you know, rhyming. But when people try to make it metaphysical and they act like their head hurt when they hear a Kendrick verse, I'm just saying. You know, I'm just saying. So it's that, you know. But, you know, I got love for J. Cole, but I think sometimes when I'm listening to the meme guys, the brothers with the French rock cuts, like, oh, that was waves, that was so deep. Like, it's not that deep, nigga. He's saying general shit that you should know. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
But okay. Yeah, I mean, if you are somebody who's like, you know, I don't know, 26 and up,
mm-hmm.
I mean, what J. Cole is saying shouldn't be that prolific.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are, you know, early 20s, teenager, then it, you know.
Flame emojis! Flames!
then that shit goes hard.
Flames.
Like Logic, that shit goes hard.
Yeah, man. Yo, Brandy Bird, you know what? We love a lot of J. Cole projects. I love a lot of his projects, but I'm not going to lie, man. It's like when I listen to him, I'm like, okay, that's nice, bro.
I put on J. Cole when I'm ready to go to bed.
Well, you know he's producing Young Thug's next album.
Why?
Flames, bars. Bars. The people y'all say he's better than, he's helping. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying. Why niggas always want to have peace with degenerates? You know, it's always like I gotta help them. I gotta be with them. When Prince and I get hot, who we gonna help? Who we gonna help first? What's first regressive person?
We're gonna pull up academics.
We gonna pull.
We gonna produce academics documentary.
Dark crimes produced for academics. What's up, guys? What the fuck? I thought you guys was for the people. I thought you was anti-academics or anti-regressive thought. Why are you helping him out?
It's all love, man.
Guys, you gotta understand, as a community, we gotta help each other, man.
Look, man, this is my thing. Part of what I enjoyed about Nipsey's music, it was just motivational shit. Just get up, go to work, knock out that 16 hours, knock out that 40 or 60 or 80 hours in the week, and just keep pushing. Man, I'm not trying to be funny. J. Cole preaches all this deep philosophical stuff, or at least it comes across that way. Then you watch the interview with him and Lil Pump, and it's like, well.
So, man, like you used to be a good student, right? Like,
yeah.
but things happened that made you, things transpired that just brought you to this direction in your life, right, man?
What did you hear?
No, I'm just saying where you were like a straight A student, B's and A's and stuff, and then you just got off course.
I don't know, man. I went to school like everybody else, so,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, what was your life like then? That was some retarded shit. I don't know what the fuck that was about.
Even J. Cole was sitting on the couch awkward.
Mm-hmm.
I said, bro, J. Cole, let me tell you something, player, man.
It's okay to be old. You're in your
come on,
early
dog.
30s, and
stop, man.
Lil Pump is 15. You don't
Pump,
need to be cool with him,
bro. If you get Lil Pump or not, it doesn't change the fact that you two are in two different artistic brackets.
And age brackets.
You know what I'm saying? And there's kids his age that mess with J. Cole's music exclusively, and they're turned off by Lil Pump. And then there's people that listen to Lil Pump that are J. Cole age, and they're just fucking retarded.
Look, I'm just saying, even if I was a teenager, I wouldn't be hanging out with Lil Pump. And I damn sure wouldn't be hanging out with him as an adult. That's all I'm saying.
All he gonna do is lie on our black asses.
Yeah, I don't care how many,
it was 3 black men.
Advertisement, whatever. I'm not hanging out with no fucking Lil Pump.
I'm just saying, he went up in there. Lil Pump went up there, and basically, if this was so many years ago, he would have started a whole black city would have been burned down.
Just imagine, come on.
He lied to them 3 invisible black men and said that they robbed him. That 100 and some years ago, he would have a whole black town burned down.
But let's say that didn't even happen, right? Everything else stayed the same except for that. And somebody came up to us who really, his manager.
Yeah.
Yo, Doc Rhymes, man, we really enjoy your stuff, or I enjoy your stuff. I think it would be good for Lil Pump to be in your show, and I want y'all to come to the concert. Here's 2 tickets. Would you go?
Let me see. I'm gonna try to make some money off them tickets.
I'm selling them on eBay
I'm selling them motherfuckers. And I'm gonna ask that manager, yo, you got any more? I want to sell some more.
Wait,
we can sell your tickets. Thought Crimes will sell the tickets.
No, we won't tell them we're gonna sell the tickets. No, your first premise was right.
Yeah.
Yo, man, we need some more tickets for our family, man. I want to bring my mom and stuff.
Just
yeah.
keep selling them things.
Do you have 4 more?
Well, I'll see if we can get an affiliate. What is it? Ticketmaster contract with that motherfucker. Man, we ain't going to the concert. I'm sorry. I would not look that little cross-eyed boy in the face for a whole hour while he talking about and holding a fucking red, doubled up red cup in his hand. I'll pass. That's what I was looking at J. Cole. I'm like, come on, J. Cole, brother. It ain't like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just not that important, J. Cole. It's not that important. And I don't know if that's still a continuum with this thing with Young Thug. I don't know. I don't know, man. I just like the shit that Nipsey was doing. That's all. I really enjoyed that shit, and I'm glad his folks are gonna keep that legacy going. But also, you know, we have sisters like Brandy Kane. You know, we got wonderful sisters out there in Crenshaw like Brandy Kane. Please check out what she got going on with Ute Juice. She also is a part of, I believe it's the MC Scholarship Giveaway Program. I think she said it was extended to April 21st. You know, that's a sister out there in Crenshaw who is also in that space with the likes of Black Sam as well, that does something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, we're more into those types of things, you know, and to each his own. But I will say this, that Lil Pump and Kodak Black, y'all done unleashed a whole new monster in Kodak Black. He's finding every day, he's trying to find a new way to trend.
Someone else I wouldn't fuck with.
I ain't gonna lie, Kodak Black do look like a nigga you run over.
Why would you say that?
I'm just saying, fuck that little troll face nigga. I'm just for real. Oh, fuck that nigga, man. Damn, nigga, why your face so dirty, bro? Nigga got dandruff. He got po nigga dandruff on his face.
My goodness.
Just saying, Kodak Black.
Run.
He do look like one of them niggas, man. You just clook. Fuck out of here, nigga. Standing in the way. Weird ass celebrities be shitting on our heads every day. We ain't supposed to joke about their asses. They so damn narcissistic and vain. That's why they fire all the real people in their circle, because people didn't read them they rights. Dumb nigga gonna say, man, why y'all say, wait, man, what's up with y'all saying recipes in Nipsey Hussle? I mean, every niggas die every day. Nigga, shut up. Will you hurry up and go to jail for that rape shit?
You got 2 rape charges.
God damn. Now,
biting on women and everything. Ugh.
Why ain't Chris Darden over there? Just saying, but
well, you said.
You all right?
Yeah, I had some.
You got some in your mouth.
I had some water in my mouth. No, but I was gonna say though.
Yeah.
Damn, I forgot what I was about to say.
Oh, you said Chris Darden.
Oh yeah, you said he hates black people. That's why he's not defending them. In fact, he would be defending Kodak Black if he was in the court.
You know what? He's so backwards. He sure would do that. He's so mad at black folks about that OJ shit.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I'm just saying though. But I mean, aren't y'all sick of Kodak Black though, man? Oh, that's a terrible. And we gonna kill that fucking cartoon too. I'm killing that fucking cartoon.
Know. Maybe we'll see what we'll do with it.
And I might have him fall off the roof or some shit. You know. Anyway, man, but that's all it is, man. It's just all jokes when it comes to that. Also, shouts out to Nadi the investor, man. Have you heard from Jonathan Phillips, by the way? We gotta chop it up with you guys shortly coming up too. I know it's been a moment since we tagged on with each other, but we're gonna get back at y'all. Also, yeah, you're absolutely right, Pete. Yes, Kodak is facing a rape charge.
2.
Yeah, he's facing 2. One of the women, she said he bit her. All on the shoulder and shit. That little fucking gremlin look like he'd do some shit like that.
He does look like he would do something like that.
That's a disgusting little. And I, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like. That's why I just wish there was a little bit more order in hip hop. That's why I said I just felt like J. Cole should not have been sitting down with Lil Pump.
Yeah, nobody said you have to diss somebody.
You know what I was so disappointed into? I actually would have enjoyed a better conversation between J. Cole and YBN Cordae.
Look, that's my thing. Look, I'm just saying, first of all, why I don't like to be around slow people. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why are you trying to have a deep conversation with somebody slow?
Yeah, like, why didn't J. Cole sit down with YBN Cordae?
Right.
Yo, shouts out to Dr. Lily.
I saw the check, nigga. Huh?
We appreciate you so much. Thank you, sister.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Lily, for the donation.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, Dr. Lily. But, yeah, you know, that's my thing about, like, you know, I tried to watch the Lil Pump thing because I had a friend, he tagged me in it and shit, and
I was 30 seconds in. I said, I'm not doing this. How long is this? Like 30 minutes?
Shit, we watched 10 seconds of that and moved on.
All I saw is that little boy's eyes get even more crossed while he was looking at Lil Pump looked like he smelled like a dirty pamper.
He does.
I'm sorry, he does.
Lord, give me a sign.
And when in our culture as men did it become cool to look stanky?
Well, remember y'all did have that stinky 60 hippie era. No, you said when in the culture wouldn't the hippie culture count?
No, I'm talking about in rap music, in hip hop.
Well, they did a little spin off of that grunge shit. The grunge era had that stinkiness, and some of them put that type of hybrid hip hop grunge thing.
I'm sorry. What's the boy's name? Lil Uzi looked dirty. Lil Pump looked dirty. Kodak Black looked dirty. Young Thug looked dirty. The cleanest little niggas I done seen were the YBN niggas. I was like, oh, these niggas look like they take showers.
No, you right. Niggas in hip hop used to take showers.
Yeah, come on, man. Biggie's old hefty ass look like what did Ray J say? He smelled like soap when he shook his hand. Niggas look dirty. They look like that dirty ass gum on the top of project carpets. Just saying. I hope a lot of y'all young niggas that listen to us, I hope y'all not following these patterns, because don't no woman find that shit attractive.
I know I don't. And you can't take groupies, that don't count. And you know, those people who do anything for money. People who do anything for money don't count. We're talking about the average person that's not going on conscious to suck dick. The average person, they do not find that shit attractive.
And these are young boys with bloated bellies.
Right, young guys, bloated bellies.
These young bloated bellies. Yeah, and Kodak Black built like the Violator from Spawn. The fuck is going on with these young niggas? You know, it's wild. And I don't know, man. I just don't know, man. I'm so glad I ain't 17 and shit at this era, because there's a lot
Well, when I see these niggas, it makes me itch.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You know, like you said, Famous Dex, Kodak,
yeah.
Lil Pump.
I'm just keeping it real with you, because like when I was 16 and 17 and we started seeing like the Fabulouses and Diddy was still dancing around with his stupid. At least one thing you can say about them niggas, they all look clean. They all look like they took showers. Outkast look like they took showers. I don't know what the fuck is going on with these old dirty face niggas. I'm sorry, man. And that's the thing about it. Like, all these niggas, they look like the side of Chris Darden's face. Outkast had a whole song called So Fresh and So Clean.
Right, love that song.
And
I know when you stare at me, I'm just so fresh and clean.
Come on now. You know, I'm just saying, like, it's gotta be careful, fellas, y'all. You know, come on, don't follow these dudes, man. Don't follow these dudes. There's nothing. You want to be clean, you know. Even if you got your little tats on your face. I mean, you look at Nipsey Hussle, the brother looked clean. Look like a clean brother. You know, it's different when you're looking at Kodak Black. Look dirty, and he's proud, and he a proud skunk. Anyway. You know.
Yeah, like Tekashi dirty.
Oh my God, Tekashi looked like walking psoriasis.
I mean, this is not, to me personally, this is not a attractive batch of dudes. But then again, maybe I'm not their target audience, so.
I don't even think women are their target audience within their age bracket either.
Be true, yes,
yeah, I'm just saying,
because
it'd be really mostly dudes that be in like young boy NBA's comments, like, yo man, you so cool, man, young boy.
Well, I mean, you do make I do try to pick the brains of my, my cousins and the little ones and stuff.
Which they are smart.
Yeah, who are like teenagers and stuff. They don't find these guys attractive. They are attracted to, people their age that are clean looking, that look like they take showers and stuff. So I don't know who their target audience is. Oh, druggies. What we talk about, druggies? When you on drugs, you don't care how somebody smell.
Yeah, man. Like, they slobbing on themselves. All of them make my face itch. They do. They all make your face itch.
I do not want to shake their hand, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. Like I be seeing Uzi Vert dancing, like, he flicking fleas. Stop, little nigga. I don't care, man.
But that's a great point. It's been like old Dirty Bastard used to be an anomaly. That's why people was fascinated about him. They you know, when you was a woman, you didn't want to fuck him, but you like, oh, his music is kind of jamming, alright, you know. But then you go, you know, put on some LL or somebody else that was more aesthetically, appealing to you, right?
Well, you know what? Old Dirty Bastard also looked like a neighborhood mechanic.
Yeah.
He looked like he went to work. I think that's what it was. He looked like one of them brothers that looked like they went to work.
But now they all look like a form of ODB without the good music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what, Sin? I think the last little dude I saw from the ODB branch was what's the little brother's name from Detroit? Danny Brown.
Yeah, you could tell Danny Brown comes from that branch.
And he actually could rap though.
Mm-hmm.
But he had his own little flavor about himself. But these other dudes, it's just kind of wild, man. It is what it is, but
Uzi Vert is itchy.
He's getting worse.
I know.
He's getting worse, man.
I'm
remember how
joking.
promising they had him? Uzi Vert is going to carry the next generation.
I do not look at his pictures. I don't. Because I do have a nervous condition where certain things make me itch. I do not look at his face because he's making...
See, be like, close that door. I'm like, well, that's making me itch. I was like, what? Let me leave it open. Nah, I'm joking. But no, he is in the... So that would actually say, would you say drunk-ass, fake, lean, pill popping ass Future was actually kind of one of the last cutoff points in that energy, that dusty space before we jump into the thuggers and it keeps going down and down and down from there?
It depends on who you're looking at. I mean, if you're looking at meth heads, pill poppers, Xanax, then yeah, but I don't really, like, the bulk of what I listen to and look at is not those type of rappers, so, you know.
Just like, you know,
because I'm not in the whole clubbing drug culture thing, you know.
Yeah.
We're not into that, you know. I don't know because, I mean, you have people who used to do certain type of drugs, but they go to the house music and they still be kind of fresh.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. I think they just like being dirty.
They do like not taking a shower and throwing on a new white tee. Boy, that's some old nasty dope boy
Because we
shit.
can't put it all on the drugs because, you know, Studio 54, there are drug cultures where people washed up.
Hey, man, you like the new threads?
Right.
Yeah. Now, I
don't. Of course, crackheads don't.
But I think, we in that kind of meth, you know, Molly era too. That's different.
Meth and crackheads don't take showers.
You seen people on Molly, man? They be rolling around in the dirt. They don't give a fuck.
Right.
They do all type of crazy, nasty shit. You know what I'm saying? This is a long way from the Noriega era.
And then people do bath salts and some other crazy stuff.
Man.
You know.
Remember there was some niggas trying to popularize that in a few dusty rap circles?
Some of these rappers will sell anything.
Yeah. Bath salt.
Well, I was about to say something fucked up. I was going to say Charlamagne worry about himself getting shot and shit. Yeah, he got them alleged situations on him.
Mm-hmm.
Should the black community be afraid of him? Man, like ain't this some shit? Niggas who made music about robbing niggas.
Ooh, hold on. Before you continue,
are afraid of black people. That is hilarious. Hilarious.
Well, that's my thing about it. Like, that's the crazy part about it. It's all of the niggas who've rapped the gangster talk, except Charlamagne. Charlamagne's done a lot of trolling shit and some other shit as well. But I'm talking about to the niggas who keep coming back to Instagram. It's all the niggas that rapped about murder and killing. You know, those are the ones that talking about, well, you know, that's why I can't go back to the hood.
Yeah, like Boosie. He talking about he can't go back. Nigga, you talking about putting niggas in body bags and shit.
Yeah.
Should you really be scared? Why are you scared?
Come on.
Lord, give me a sign.
You know, if Logic said, you know, I don't want to go back, you know,
yeah.
I just don't feel right, I'm scared. All right, I believe you. If J. Cole, even Kendrick, but niggas talk about putting other niggas in body bags every day. They talk about they scared.
And here you had Nipsey Hussle, a whole Crip, walking around with no fear. That's some crazy shit, man. And I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. See, we sitting there we not one of these people that who's real, who isn't. All I'm saying is this: when it come down to it, time will tell. They can show you better than they can tell you. But all these dudes talking about, don't go back to the hood. I'm scared, and that's why I don't. All of y'all rapped about murdering quote unquote niggas. Y'all rapped about murdering everybody, blacks. This shit is stupid. Just me talking about that shit is stupid, sis.
I don't know what you talking about, Cool Chris. We didn't say nothing about Jay-Z looking dirty. We said he wear Hillary Clinton pantsuits from time to time.
He does wear the pantsuits.
He needed to stop, but we didn't say Jay-Z looked like he takes baths and showers.
Jay-Z they both take baths. They all take baths. Baths take baths. Okay? But I will say this, though, to all of you former gangsters, stop sticking your face in that Instagram camera talking about why you don't go back to the hood. It's probably because you owe somebody in the hood, too. I'm probably looking for your ass. But I'm just saying, and even with some of the quote-unquote blood and Crip affiliated niggas, y'all weren't free to move around like Nipsey. Because you know why? Because the people that you moved around hated you because you was an asshole. That's why you can't go back to certain spaces, because you're an asshole.
Well, and because they're celebrity. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter how 90% of people can love you as a celebrity. Somebody could still get you. That's why you need.
No, that
security.
is true.
Right.
But that is true. But some of them try to act like why certain people don't like seeing them come.
Oh yeah.
Because, yeah. Nah, well, I wasn't going this. Come on, man. You doing that?
I'm just saying.
You two talking about. Why not use any of that vernacular around these niggas? Just saying. But anyway, as we stated before, it's a good chance it's just betrayal that happened with the good brother, and like Sin and I have both said, that's a neutral situation. That's a group dynamic. Betrayal, whether you're talking about Brutus and what he did to Caesar, if you're talking about Judas, what he did to Jesus. You can go down the list. You can go down the list of, betrayal. You know what I'm saying? So, just kind of everybody pay attention. Do what you got to do and just move around, but you still got to live your life. Like I said, this situation, the brother still lived his life with no fear. You know what I'm saying? The man, he had God will rise on the side of his face. He had prolific tatted on the side of his face. He lived fearless. I can't say the same for a lot of these rappers sticking their face in camera talking about R.I.P. Nip. A lot of them look scary, and I've met some of these guys in person, and there's some very scary individuals. Very nervous folks. And I don't know, Sin. All that gun clapping on the record, and you just you shaking like a wet puppy and poodle in person. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's interesting. But it is what it is. Are
we gonna allow anybody to call in? Let's just take 1 or 2 calls.
We'll take 1 or 2 drunk calls.
Yeah, I was gonna say no, so I can go eat. But
I was like, I'm calling in. First of all, fuck thought crimes.
We should let a couple of people call in, like 3 the most. No more than 3.
Also, by the way, we got a little short up. If you guys want to check it out, the destruction of the Bloods in hip hop.
Right. It's a good video. You should watch it.
Pretty good.
Check it out.
Sin, how you feeling today, by the way?
I'm feeling good now.
You feeling good?
Right. Yep, I am.
You such a... You know what I'm saying?
What?
Yep, I am. Just get it going. This is black women. Yeah, yep, that's good. Can you hold it down for me? Let's see here.
I'm trying to get the number so, we could
black people.
Let me see, where is it? Also, dope beats by Father Godson.
Oh yes. Shouts out to Father Godson, man. Wonderful beats. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, the call-in number is 903-600-0530.
Yeah. Make sure y'all make sense when you get to your point. Queen says sin don't want to talk to nobody. That's the number right there. You know what I'm saying? We are accepting some calls. You guys get a chance to chop it up with us.
The number is 903-600-0530.
Also, Dark says, TC, how do you all feel about black feminists using Nipsey Hussle's death to promote toxic masculinity? Well,
I think if it depends. If you're talking about black women, I mean, there's always been articles and stuff of black women talking about the violence and the disrespect of black women. So I don't have a problem with it of women talking about that, because women in our community have been talking about that for a long time, and it does need to be addressed. But it depends on who's talking about it. I think is the important part.
If they're well thought out articles and it not only talks about a certain type of mentality that festers in hip hop,
right,
that's destructive to women, destructive to the own black men, the children, then I really don't have no problem with it. I know I saw some articles about the LGBTQ right up on Nipsey.
Yeah, no, things like that's bullshit.
You know, and I to be honest with you, a partner of mine, we shared it. He was trying to get me to. I didn't give a fuck, cause bro, I was a real Nipsey supporter. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about no article shit like that, and they ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? If that man wanted to get them clicks and them death threats, go ahead, cause he did nothing but frustrate his own life, and you frustrating yourself, reshare some shit that's making you angry. You know, cause to me. Again, we got to keep in mind we're in the eras of clicks and views. That goes for articles as well. You know, the more clicks, the more people that are angry and they reshare. It is what it is. But I do feel that diverse perspectives and conversation should be had more so in hip-hop, especially with the commentary and the journalism within hip-hop, because as you see, there's a lack of intelligence within the culture online by people's immediate responses. So if it's a true expansive conversation, a very honest, ingenuous conversation and not in disingenuous conversations, I'm all for it. But all that other shit, people just be, putting stuff out there just to get views, we'll pass.
Yeah, it just has to be something sensible and logical. They talk about the atmosphere of, jealousy and envy, and it is more dangerous when it's embodied in masculine energy because it's more violence. I mean, we can't lie about that. Men have testosterone, and they have to have more constraints and to be more meditation and more. Men have to be more in touch, of course, with their emotions and their feelings so they can have more control.
Yeah.
So, and then if we're talking about the culture of rap music and how destructive it's been, then that's another talking perspective. But it really just depends. If it's like somebody who's just being random and all over the place,
because, y'all saw, I'm not trying to be funny.
That's different.
Y'all saw... I saw the picture of the brother that wrote that article, the LGBT. I'm looking at my partner like, nigga, I'm about to play victory lap. I'm not reading this. Bro, we know what's going on, but you do have to understand what is the agenda here? Is it solution orientated, or is it to get your article to trend enough to cause for NBC to ask for an interview from you? You know what I'm saying? Because you got to keep in mind, everybody has an agenda in this monetization clickbait era, too.
Well, also, Tim Porter, he said toxic masculinity is just more oversimplification. Let's talk about the environment and how it came to be. Less poverty equals less jealousy. Well, I do agree with you that just saying that just toxic masculinity is the issue is an oversimplification of it. Even though men have a higher percentage of testosterone or whatever, they have a brain just like anybody else. Mm-hmm. Of course, if the environment have men to have more accountability, and to also have more emotional intelligence, and it be okay for them to display emotional intelligence, and then also the economic issue. Yes, of course, that plays a huge aspect of it because of criminal activity. Yeah. So, of course, those things need to be talked, not just saying, oh, it's just in men's nature to be violent. It's in anybody's nature to do good or to do evil. Yeah. Everybody has those two choices within them. But of course, of course, there's chemistry as well. But all in all, human beings have, at the end of the day, the ability to make their own choices in life.
Well, what I don't like about these conversations, Sin knows me. She knows me. Like I will avoid if I feel your view is myopic and you want to have these important conversations, I'm tuning out every time. So when you bring up toxic masculinity, I have a problem with not analyzing the environment as well, because too many times like it's victim shaming, it's victim blaming, right? Where you're just saying, all right, the subject, that's it. No engagement, nothing having to do with the environment. And then when you're saying toxic masculinity, if you want to throw that terminology around, I very rarely hear any nuances in that. Like what is it? Is because you're holding stuff in because you got laid off, or you're scared, you're fearful? Like, what is it? And I actually prefer more the route of what Ida B. Wells was trying to do, what Booker T. Washington was trying to do. Is a lot of things I don't agree with a lot of different folks, or even Marcus Garvey, and then of course the brother Nipsey Hussle, which they were really trying to eliminate poverty in their communities first. They were really trying to get into that mindset and work with the people that were at the very least culpable enough to carry out certain things, and then begin educating people in the process. I think too many times we as a culture, and it's across the board, we just like to throw darts at specific individuals and then use them as a target board for our biases.
Well, and,
you know what I'm
and
saying?
And also
so
how things is a backlash, like what you said before. If someone's always saying, "Oh, you women can't control your emotions," then you'll have guys grow up thinking that somehow, just based off of biology, that somehow they can just automatically filter and control their emotions better than women. So that's another thing too. If society, like if you pay attention more to another group about something, that group is going to internalize it and be more aware, right? Versus the other group that, people haven't been really given that type of criticism towards. Yeah. So that's another thing. But that goes back to environment, though.
Yeah, I mean,
people say girls mature faster than boys on average. Is that just based off of biology, or is that based off of the standards from society, measurements to mature faster?
That's my point. It's like I keep hearing about feminism, toxic masculinity, but I'm looking at these, like, what's our environments looking like too? On top of that,
from Roy.
Hello, Roy.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's good?
I was listening to y'all conversation y'all was just having just now about like toxic masculinity. And
man, Roy, where are you from? You sound like a West Coaster.
Oh yeah, I'm from LA.
Already, I can hear it.
Oh, yeah. But I was hearing y'all conversation with y'all talking about toxic masculinity. It seemed to be like some common threads with everything y'all saying. It all goes back to humans aren't as evolved as we think we are.
I love that.
We still got a lot growing to do.
All the time. I agree with that 100%. And you actually have people who are not as evolved as they think they are, or mature as they think they are emotionally, judging other people that they deem immature, and it's got this weird thing going on. But I do agree that there should be a more balanced approach. And we hear feminism, toxic masculinity, and then we're not talking about it, right? Because think about it, they've already proven that mental illness is not one only byproduct of heredity, but also environmental. You read about what the victims were going through. Coming out of slavery, coming out of even Chernobyl, if you're talking about the Jews, the type of mental illness and the suffering that they were under, the stress is what breaks people down. That sometimes stress reveals the monsters in us. Sometimes we get very upset, and a lot of times we just incubating in it as well, and we're not showing the best of ourselves.
And what society expects from us. Like, people act surprised when an older sibling is more responsible and the younger one is a jackass. The younger one is a jackass because you made the younger one a jackass by putting more responsibility on the older one. Yeah. And it's the same thing. It could be with gender. Like, if you put more responsibility on the boy or on the girl, you're going to see your kids react into adulthood a different way. based off of that. That's 50. Environment is 50% of it.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's a big important part because what y'all just saying, like you were just saying about like something like slavery or like the Holocaust. Like normally when someone is going through something traumatic, it's normally therapy that's given to them so that they can have proper tools to manage. And if you don't have it, you just keep building on to what's already wrong with you. You're never fixing it.
Yeah, but people want to write the articles and just say toxic masculinity. This man is angry and why? It's just like, come on, bro. It's like, what are we doing? Are we really having an honest conversation, or we just have a biased, opinionated op-ed piece? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. And that theory about Dr. Sebi, I think it's totally bullshit. Why would they make Nipsey into a martyr if they trying to like ice out the whole documentary?
Brother, I'm gonna tell you something, man. And I don't know where to split the line with this, because one part, and I had a wonderful talk with Open Mind and Jobs from My Skin and My Sin on a dope episode of No Simp Zone. One part, there are a lot of hurt supporters and fans. And then on the other side of the game, there are people who have been waiting to swing onto a new movement in the conspiracy theorist space, in the black space. Because they kind of ran out of, like, everything else. And so it's like, oh, shit, now we got a new one. And to be honest with you, one thing I don't like Sin said earlier, even if those particular conspiracy theorists just gave us one solid story, like what was it, the Bay of Pigs? Like, give us one solid story and they stuck with it. But these people are coming up with new stories every day. Yeah, it's just like, what are we doing? And it's like, come on, bro. Like, 15 Nipsey Hussle. Like, that shit about Nipsey Hussle being the son of Dr. Sebi, I was done.
Also, hide your kids said, how can you tell a man, I guess, has toxic masculinity? I mean, if people don't want to use the word toxic masculinity anymore, that's fine, because feminists have overused it. But I think what you mean is, how can you tell a guy is emotionally unstable? I think the clear, to me, I think you could tell anybody is emotionally off the charts by one interaction. For me personally, if you see them get overly anxious and angry over something that should be a relaxed conversation, it could be a serious trauma, it could be a mental issue, it could be various things that's in that person's background that have them be emotionally unstable in the way that they are. So,
well, you know what? I think I'm gonna be honest with you. And player, you can speak to this if you want to, as a black man yourself. What I have a problem with personally is that what we've seen in our culture and our tradition generationally, and now with the digital revolutionaries, the digital journalists, the digital bloggers, we like to slap labels on people, and we want to run on. We want to move on. We don't want to hear a response. We don't want to hear a counter opinion or them saying, oh, no, I'm not that. This is why. Or you did call me that. Could you explain to me why? Like, we don't want the afterthought. So people want to say, toxic masculinity and just leave it there. And then, maybe a little boy looking and listening is not getting an understanding of what you're trying to convey, but you just left it out there. Now you got a bunch of adults arguing with each other online. And, we've seen the reverse when it comes to feminists and things like that, when people throw those labels out there. What do you think about that in our cultural zeitgeist right now, with just slapping labels on people and not being open to true conversations?
I think what happens is, like, intelligent people get involved and they come up with these labels, and I think the labels are good because they help you identify people better. You can actually tend to extend the definition a bit further and look at things a bit more deeply and profound. But I think what happens is when idiots get involved and pick up these labels and misuse them wrongly, or just use them just for shock value because they know how people feel about the label.
I think that's a great point you just made. You're right. Intelligent people do come up with a lot of these terms most of the time to try to categorize an issue, and then talking heads and other people put gasoline in, use it in the wrong way.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, language is a useful tool. I think we just misuse it.
Yeah, that is true. Hey man, I like that. That's 100% on that one, player. Man, you had any final thoughts in regards to even just the Nip situation, or even some of the other things we may have brought up, whether you liked or disliked, before we let you go, player?
Nothing. Just think critical. That's it.
All right, King, man. We appreciate you so much, all the way from the left coast. I like that. Think critical.
Thank you for calling in, man.
All right, that's call number 1. You want to do that?
I think that's a good call to leave it on.
You want to leave it on that one? Look at you smiling.
Unless somebody in the chat really wants to call in.
What, the chat is going to call in?
Little chat.
Yeah, man. All right, somebody get art creation a bottle. Why are you up in here cutting up like that, man? Anyway, it's been a decent live stream.
Well, Christmas talk about, y'all always talk about who gay, who cares, y'all knowing this. I guess there's people in the chat. I guess there's people in the chat going on a gay hunt.
Well, Christmas, we'll share with you some information. Anytime we did any video on who's in the closet, who got caught with a quote-unquote transgendered individual, we look at our metric. It's
90% male. 90% of the males care who's trans and care who's gay.
The women percentage dips dramatically.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Yeah, that is an interesting thing. Can you explain, guys in the chat, why that is?
Saying, I was so disappointed at my species. I says, look at this ignorant shit.
Call from Sky.
What's up, Sky?
Yo, what's up, Sky?
Hey, what's going on, Dr.
Yo, what's good with you? Let me turn down the music. Sky, where you calling from?
I'm down here in Miami right now, Florida. I'm from Florida, period.
Uh-oh,
Florida
Miami.
in the house.
What's up with you? What's going on, player? What you doing?
Not. Well, first of all, I'm smoking, so not no cool. Not trying to be like cool or no lame shit like that. Just being honest.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your thoughts?
But yeah, I was calling because you guys were talking about the labels. I heard you guys were talking about toxic masculinity or whatever. Excuse me, I'm not good with vocabulary. I'm just an analytical person.
Oh, that's fine.
It's not like I sit and study stuff. Yeah. I don't.
You're all right.
But I like you guys' channel. You guys are very, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you good. You good. The president's not good with vocabulary either, so you're fine. You're all right.
You a trip, Frank. But yeah, because I just got listening to you guys is what made me more aware of things. So like I said, I have a very analytical mind. I don't read, I'm not proud of that, but I'm not a reader. I'm a kinetic learner. So, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, I think the labels are what are keeping a lot of us asleep as Black people. And I can kind of understand what you guys are saying through the hip hop, and even how, and I don't want to speak plainly and assert to anything that you guys aren't saying, you know what I'm saying? But like you're saying, J. Cole was writing for artists, right? Mm-hmm. And whoever listens to his music, they don't know that, but because you guys are privy to the knowledge that you have, you're able to connect the dots. So I'm saying maybe there has to be a new tactic to reach the younger audience, 18, 19-year-olds, because right now I'm in a training class at a call center. And I'm in there with 18, 19-year-olds, and some of the conversations, like I said, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I get my information from y'all. I know y'all legit, you feel me? Because it makes sense. Mm-hmm. It just makes sense versus what you're seeing in everyday media. But I think just even future, I don't believe in hell and stuff like that, but if it's it's the narrative that I'm getting from you guys, that dude should be ashamed of himself. So I'm saying, who's holding people like that accountable? You feel me? How does that work?
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on the first part of what you stated first. With the teenager stuff, the Gen Zers, I do find them to be very interesting because, the ones that are extremely smart, their attention span is still pulled like the rest of their peers, because they are completely, when they come out of the womb, they're technology babies. The millennials, the older millennials, they still had at least a little bit of time before they got really into it, and Gen Zers just go straight into it. So I think sometimes you're the older heads, you know, even sometimes older millennials, they can be too damning on Gen Zers, and they don't really try to understand from their angle of the world.
Yeah.
You know, because I had my cousin over, and even when he was talking about comedy, he was talking about he liked things to be more, a little bit more outrageous, like more slapstick, right? And I was just, you know.
No, I'm not even, you guys, I'm not, maybe I'm not, you know, understand what you're saying or whatever, but what I'm talking about is awareness of what's going on. Like, we were discussing, I don't want to go off the topic what y'all talking about, but we were in there, we were discussing what's going on in the neighborhoods and versus going to, like, if we're not having issues resolved in the community, it's up to the community, like the Black community, to be the ones to be out here doing that. That's just my opinion.
Oh, you mean building?
Opinion.
Like Black economic
whatever
stuff?
In the community, like, you know what I'm saying? If it's dirty on the street,
well, I
me?
think
Like,
you know what I think. I'm you know, I'll say this. Man, this is fucked up.
You about to say something fucked up?
Nah. I'm not. You know, if I'm gonna say something fucked up, I'm just saying it. If I'm saying something,
I respect that about you, Prince.
But what I will say,
so I will hope you would tell me that if I'm saying some fucked up.
No, we don't think that.
Oh no, not you. He's about to say something about a premise or something that's fucked up.
Oh,
like it's like Tupac's death for millennials was the wrong message for the millennial rappers to come up, right? So
I don't mean to cut you, Prince, but I respect the culture of hip hop
right.
and excuse me, rap. Yeah. I think he'll fall in the category of rap.
Right.
But I would say Nipsey Hussle. I didn't study Nipsey Hussle, but from what I heard that the brother was doing in the community.
We'll pause right there. This is
he would be my Tupac.
But that's what I'm getting into.
That's the point he was going to make.
Yeah, let me make this point though, because, like, okay, you got somebody like Sin's cousins, right? We were their age when Tupac died.
We were about 6 or something like
that.
Yeah.
Okay. We might have been a little younger than them, but nonetheless, we was young enough to not understand but see who these people were. But as we got older, and these individuals like Tupac have been immortalized in a violent blaze, and his legend grew. He grew bigger in death, but for all the wrong reasons later on.
The worst of him got celebrated in his death.
You saw a culture pattern themselves off of him. It was the Tupac spirit, the Machiavelli. They don't even refer to him as Tupac Amaru Shakur. It's Machiavelli the Don. That's what they like, right? I really believe in my heart, even given with somebody like Jay-Z, he's got his issues, but at least with 444, he's saying the right shit on there, whether you love him or hate him.
Right.
But I will say with Nipsey Hussle, the shit that he was doing, the real deal, but the fact that he died the way he did, like, he is literally a martyr, like, automatically, right? So you're going to have Gen Zers who are still interested in hip-hop.
So, Prince,
they're looking at that.
Prince, so is preserving that culture, that image in the culture, that important than what's going on with the youth right now that's coming up? Like, I'm not even talking about
this
right
is
now.
what
I'm
I'll
talking
say.
about, like, our communities and the knowledge of owning land and
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. But you got to think about it like this. Like, you really got to think about it like this. It's all intertwined. Cause, like, I'm not trying to be funny. It's all intertwined. Like, it is important for the youth to know about this stuff outside of the space of the celebrity. It shouldn't just have to come through a Nipsey. It shouldn't just have to come through what Jay-Z's smacking on the record. But it does for a lot of them. And like Sin said, these babies are coming right out into social media. They're online, like, we've seen them. They're engaged in it. What is happening is there is a cultural shift taking place where you have youngins online, they get more involved in the coding aspect. But to show them how to own stuff, you still got to understand they're still being pushed into a not so smart social media cultural perspective.
Sky, it is based off of the package because kids look up to like a hero. Sometimes it's his parent, sometimes it's a celebrity. But it's really how you package stuff, because even if we go back in time and we do like a Teddy and the Rough Riders, right? There are a lot of kids at that time, white kids for them though, that cared about land and being for their community because they looked up to Teddy. They thought he was just so cool in the Rough Riders, right? And let's just go to the black kids real quick, like with the Black Panthers, right? We also have to remember a lot of them were deemed attractive. Some of them was on magazine covers. People like the black leather gloves and all that.
I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
I'm working on the line. It's not going to be ready. It's not a thing immediate, but in the meantime, I'm going to work on it because I listen to certain podcasts. Like I said, you guys are like one of my news medias that I listen to. I don't watch mainstream media. You feel me? So I heard about the, and excuse me if I don't say it right, I think it's the H40 or the HR40, something like that. I got to get some information on it. So what I'm planning on doing in my community is getting a cricket machine and like putting H40, I'm going to get the returns right before I put it on the shirt, of course. So, you know what I'm saying? Make just awareness, you know, and just try to make it look cool and stuff like that. Because I'm going to be in a call center. They're going to be like, what's H40? You know, I'm going to make it H-40, might like a gang or something.
I got you.
Get a nigga's attention type shit.
Right.
So then that's when I educate. So that's what I'm planning on doing. But it just breaks my heart to know because I'm like, other than just the media, like, you know what I'm saying, hip-hop and stuff like that, like,
but you know what, though, sis?
Where do we have power, Prince?
But I'm going to tell you something.
Niggas buying land or whatever, space and shit. They buying shit in space. Like,
but that's
black people doing that shit? Are we that far behind, my nigga?
Nah. Like, I'm going to be real with you. You do have people that are involved in the process of buying land, right? But, like, listen to what you said, though, because you're a part of this whole change with the Gen Zers are catchable. Because I'm gonna be honest with you.
What's the Gen Z, dude?
That's like the
15-year-olds right now.
15-year-olds, 14-year-olds, your little ones that you see
16 right now.
running around the neighborhood with water guns and shit, right? All of them.
Okay,
and then them cats that you talking about in the call center. I've worked in call centers, a lot of different ones, right? But what you about to do, how you about to crack a code that's different. You going up in the call centers where young kids, young black teenagers are going in there saying, man, I just need some money. And then they're going to go in there and they're going to talk to you and walk into some knowledge. So you catching them right when they may be in desperate times or they might be in a transitional phase while they're in college. And while they're going to college, they may be able to set themselves up differently in college after running into somebody like you. Right. So that's what's important is it does start with us.
And it's a dissect type of thing too, because you have kids who are into gaming. So then if you have kids who are like really into gaming, then you're gonna have to think about, okay, how do I get them to think about buying up land? How should I make a video game? Or, you know, if you have kids who are into music, then you got to think, okay, music wise, you know, so it's each group of kids is going to be different.
But that's the thing though, that right now I don't know if it's my communication skills, because I've had confirmation that, you know what I'm saying, it's good, because the instructor of the class, he's a very smart guy. Like, not to say that Brand like means anything because he owns a Porsche doesn't mean he's knowledgeable, but based on what you guys talk about and how he moved and the way he talked, like he's you know what I'm saying, he's a very wise guy. And after I said what I said in class, I don't want to go into it about a discussion we had because I was trying to bring awareness. And that shit made me emotional, man. But he came back to me and he was like, what you said was very brave, like patted me on the shoulder, but my people were so mad at me. And I'm like, y'all the only ones mad. Like the white people coming to me and telling me what you said was real. Like, and I'm like, damn, how do I reach my people, bro? Because it's like, bro, what I'm saying to you is out of love. Cause Shorty said something to me, and I was like, I like pretty much I was telling her like I am my brother's keeper, and she's like, you don't know me, and and I'm like, why is Shorty so mad? Cause I told her like I'm her keeper. Like, who does that, man?
Well,
that's what I'm saying, bro. That made me sad to see my little sister look at me and do that. So a nigga like, if a nigga like, what's his nigga name, Future, really doing that, my nigga, that's some fucked up shit, man.
But it's the
and if a nigga really fuck with that nigga, they need to like really lay hands on that nigga, because that's some fucked up shit. You don't, if that nigga don't do drugs and he's selling drugs to the kids, bruh, like that, whatever nigga, I don't know if that is Future, but whatever nigga doing that, and niggas associate themselves like that with them niggas in it, yo, like niggas need to put them niggas' name on a list, bruh, and just line them niggas up, like for real. Like, what the fuck, nigga? Do you see what you doing?
And also, to be honest with you, Scott, people who are most at
What
risk
the fuck?
are going to be more negative.
Hey, man, if a nigga give me a clearance, I don't even give a fuck. I know niggas listening to this shit. Give me your fucking clearance. I'll line them niggas up and shoot every one of them niggas in this shit.
It's all right though, Scott.
feel me?
Yeah, but here you gotta keep this in mind. It's like what Sin is saying.
Shit, nigga.
You gotta keep this. You
I
gotta
don't give
keep
a
it like
fuck. I would
this.
get street
Nah,
addicts,
but
my
Scott,
nigga.
you gotta
This is my
understand
grandma,
this.
bruh.
Now you gotta understand this. That's why
probably
this
know,
is
hey,
this is why we say what we say about all of this though. You gotta hold on real quick, Sky. Sky, hold on. Hold
Yo,
on.
how do y'all keep y'all head steady with this
Hey,
shit?
I'm
My
gonna tell
niggas,
you something, Sky.
y'all
Let me.
are good.
Nah.
Y'all niggas must meditate deeply. Nigga.
No,
I'm
Sky.
gonna take my breath, bro.
Yeah, but you gotta. Let me tell you what you gotta do, Sky. You gotta bring yourself down to a center. I'm gonna keep it real with you, right? Where you at and what you going through and the type of individuals you're dealing with, you're gonna have to quell your emotions with this. If you want to learn, if you want to teach your people, you know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna take patience. It's going to take patience. You have to understand the mindset that has been sat upon for us.
Right now, fam.
But you got to understand this though. How old are you, Sky?
28.
You 28. You're 28 years old.
Yes.
You already matured. You've already matured. What you have to understand is the emotional aspects because you're passionate about this. And when we get passionate people, sometimes our shit come out the wrong way, and we end up hurting the people we're trying to teach. Right? We end up hurting the people.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, man. I don't need to be on here talking, fam. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Look, I was just letting you know that people who are at risk are going to be the most negative and aggressive. Like when I even was, talking to at-risk kids of white, black, whatever, everything you say is a hurdle with them. If you go to certain communities, even black or certain conventions, like if you go to tech conventions with black kids, they're going to be more receptive, but that's because their environment and their grooming is more healthy, right? When you're dealing with people who are not in a healthy environment, they're gonna fight you.
Yeah,
they're gonna fight you, even if in their heart, like deep down inside, they know what you're doing is right.
Yeah,
they're still going to fight you because they don't know how to filter their emotions correctly and how to deal with the situation.
Yeah, another thing, Sky, I'm gonna keep it real with you, Sky. You gotta look at it like this, player. A lot of your people, including yourself, including myself, we're all dealing with forms of PTSD. Like, a lot of us have seen some shocking, traumatic shit that young ones shouldn't see at an early age. So you talking to that sister. I've had arguments with women and men. I'm just being real. Sometimes, sometimes some of us, we blow up on each other, and the person that got blown up on don't know what happened. The person that's doing the blowing up don't know why they're blowing up. They think they know why they're blowing up. A lot of times we walking around with triggers. And you say one word, you talk a certain way, your voice inflection come off a certain way. We get triggered about something somewhere that happened to us or that's still happening to us. So when you was talking to your little sis, she looking at you crazy because somewhere she's triggered about something.
Right.
The deal is understanding what is our PTSD and how is it affecting us. We have to understand our emotions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because little mama came back later talking about I'm Mexican. I'm like, shorty, you the same color as me. Like, I understand if you say like I'm Indian, then I could say, okay, let's have a different conversation. Right. But you came back and told me like you're Mexican. Like, shorty,
how old was this girl?
In the call center with me, like.
How old was she?
Shorty was 19, but I'm saying though, like,
Sky,
he's still coming up.
I know, Sky, but you got to be patient.
Yeah, 19, you're gonna have to be.
But
patient.
no.
Yeah.
There's older people in there. We had 25 and shit in there, like.
That's still, but you got to look, Sky. Let me put it to you like this: you're talking about
I'm old, 28.
You 28 though, but I want you to understand something though. Do you know that? Back even back in the mule and acre era, our ancestors, our great grandmothers, our great grandfathers were referred to as little boys and girls. We talking about people who were 45, 55 that was still called boy. Do you understand that there is a cultural implementation and a systemic implementation to retard the growth of the average young black girl and young black boy? And at the same time, the system refers to them as adult criminals. They criminalize
I'm not blaming them for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also say, Sky, you can't save everybody either. The thing that will help, the thing that helps me is I'll try and I'll keep trying, but I don't expect for everybody to be successful. Mm-hmm. Some people, they may realize after not talking to me for 5 years and be like, yo, they call me 5 years later, yo, Sincere, you was right. It's about planting a seed. You plant the seed. You let the seed grow, right? But you don't have to hover around it. You don't have to be hardcore. None of that.
You can't push him to it.
Right?
No,
None of that.
No, absolutely not. We're good.
Uh-huh.
I'm just very passionate about it, and sometimes I go into details and get off the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying?
You all right, Scott? You got a heart.
Respect.
You got a heart, but like she said, just make sure. Just look at it like this, Scott. Make sure this doesn't consume you as a human being, where whoever you with or whatever family members you with, that you can't offer the best of yourself to them. You don't want to turn bitter behind this. No. I'm gonna tell you something. There's too many people, Sky, that had the same heart and a passion as you, and now they're bitter. They don't want to be bothered with nobody. They're just sick of the world. So just make sure you balance yourself when you're offering a piece of yourself. Make sure you offer a piece of yourself to the right people. That's gonna receive it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, listen, I heard a little bit of what y'all said, but it was a pleasure. I'm glad I called in because I was nervous, you feel me? But it turned out cool.
It's all right, Scott. We appreciate you, man. You keep doing your thing, player, and keep listening to us. Thank you so much. All right.
All right. It's okay for you to call me her. I don't fuck with levels. I'm good.
All right.
All
right,
right, Prince.
Peace.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Queen. All right, Sin.
All right. Peace out.
All right.
All right.
All right, everybody. We're thank you for all the people who called in.
Right.
We're about to go edit some more videos and stuff like that.
All right then, folks. We appreciate you so much. Y'all take care. And shouts out to, again, ITG if we missed you all. Jazz Day, Brandon Burr, Queen Vonna, Marvin, Ace Man, Positivity. That's funny how you spelled it. And Parker Lynn. She says, everyone in the chat, let us pray for this person sin, and Dr. Lely as well. We'll give you guys a Dick Gregory shout out.
I saw the check, nigga. Huh?
Thank you so much. We appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. Peace.
Peace.
There can only be one. You are now listening to the Masters. Thought Crimes. Prince Solomon. Sincere.
Thought Crimes, are you mad?
Build your community. Have mercy on your allies. Destroy your enemies. Thought Crimes, save me. Save us.
Have I gone mad?